I just wake up in the morning and I yell a lot, even though it's way too early. It's fun though. Wake up, wake up, wake up! Wake up, wake up, wake up! It is time to get up way too early with Garage Gym Life. Shout out to everybody who is in the live chat right now. My guy Carlos is in the live chat. That's not where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be backstage, Carlos. Hold up a second. He just texted me. He says, I'm here. I don't feel like you are because I don't see you backstage, Carlos. So, Shepherd the Lost Sheep, what's your 20? Over. Jared Martin, what's good, man? Hey, what's up? Good seeing you here, seeing both of y'all joining us. If this is your first time checking out the show, this is Up Way Too Early with Garage Gym Life. I'm John Greaves III. I'm the founder of Garage Gym Life, and this show is your morning, your fitness morning show. It's a variety show centered around home gym culture. We get your weekend started correctly, okay? So, hey, there's Carlos. Good job, Jared. You found him. He has been located. As one of my mom's pastors used to say, you have been located. He's from Ghana. Really aggressive. And everything he said. Yeah, anyway, so if this is your first time here, I appreciate you guys checking out the show. Please do me a favor, hit that like button for me and hit subscribe. We're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers. We're almost at 40,000. So we are on schedule, but we need to get this thing going. So I need you guys to hit like and subscribe for me if you haven't. And if you have subscribed and you are interested in doing more to help the show out, you're looking for ways to support people. Actually, believe it or not, people ask me all the time, what can I do to help you? Well, here is a very easy and low cost way to do it. And that is to join the channel. So you have to be a subscriber. And then once you are actually a subscriber, there's a join button that will pop up where the subscribe button was. You click that, and for 99 cents a month, you get early access to all of our videos. And you also will be able to get some emojis that you can use during live streams like this that no one else who's not a member has. And then you also get like a little badge next to your name. The other thing that we're going to be giving is that our Discord is looking like our Discord is going to be members only. It's going to be available to YouTube channel members only. And so as a result of that, you'll have access to giveaways that are member-only giveaways. There's not really a way for me to do physical giveaways here on YouTube. It just isn't possible. But if you become a channel member, then I'll give you the link to join our Discord, and we can do giveaways all day in there. And so those are the perks you get. Plus, you'll be helping the show, help us get, upgrade and maintain our equipment and other important things like that. Now, the other thing is I need to let you guys know what's on the menu today. So the first hour is going to be a little bit different. Typically, I start off with news and other things. Then I go into Recliner of Rage, tell you guys what I'm mad about this week. And then we have the first guest on. But because Carlos is coming and we got to accommodate his schedule because I do appreciate him being on here. The next thing I talk about is going to be Carlos coming on, and he's going to tell us about movies that raise your testosterone just by watching them. So we've had a little bit of a show topic going on, how to maximize your testosterone levels. And we talked about how to do it through exercise primarily with Nick Nilsson last week. Now Carlos is like, well, let me help you raise your testosterone. I got some movies you can watch that'll make your chest hair grow. Even if you're a woman, it'll make your chest hair grow. All right. And then after that, then we'll go into news and then after that, we'll do Recliner of Rage. And I'll probably actually I'll keep Carlos on. We'll do Recliner of Rage with Carlos on so he can react. Hold on. Let me think about that for a minute. We're going to do Recliner Rage after Carlos is done recommending movies. Whether he stays on or not depends on his behavior during his segment. Okay. Then, time permitting, we'll do news and other things, including an update on my guy J619 driver. He sent me a picture update of his home gym. So we're keeping track of how that home gym is going. He's putting it together. So I got an update on his home gym. Second hour, weightlifter Holly Sullivan is going to be joining the show. She's going to be talking about surviving and thriving as a master's athlete despite battling cervical cancer and spondylolisthesis. She's also going to teach me how to pronounce spondylolisthesis correctly. And so she's going to talk about all of those things. Then in the third hour, which will be 8 a.m. Eastern time, Greg Santarsiero from GCode Nutrition is going to be back, and he's going to talk about supplementation that helps you maintain the proper hormone balance once you hit your 40s and you become a grown-up. And then in the last hour, which will be 9 a.m. Pacific, if time is remaining, we might do Free for All Friday. We might not. I'll just see how the show goes. All right. But with all of that being said, and hold on, we got some comments in here. But look at this. Jared says he's been wondering about best movies to watch while lifting. So just like that, here he is. I've got the person who has the answer to that question happens to be backstage. Let's bring him on right now. Show your love. Carlos.
I'm playing. I got sound.
See, you look at that. You're already completely off the dang leash. Oh my God! All right.
Look,
all right. So Jared says he's in for Free for All Friday today. Okay. All right, Jared. So just for that, we're gonna definitely have Free for All Friday at 9 o'clock because Jared said he's in. So if you in, Jared, we're gonna make, because that's how it happens. If I don't have anybody, I'm not talking to myself. I don't talk to myself. Okay. So if I want to do that, I go downstairs.
I would totally jump on that thing, but I'm like at work and in the truck. So that was just.
And that's got nothing to do with it. That's the whole point of it being Free for All Friday. You call me or call, no matter where you are. You're like, okay, I just want to bring this up. You don't have to be in your office or your home. Stop being bougie, Carlos. You could be anywhere you want, wherever you happen to be. You know what I mean? Okay, hold up. Actually, let's modify that. Do not join my show from the bathroom.
Come on.
Do not join my show from the bathroom. I ain't trying to see your chest hair or anything else. Do not join my show from the bathroom.
I'm coming to you guys from the latrine.
No, see, I got to give you, again, y'all, you always out of hand, so I got to give you handles. Do not, no, this for everybody. This ain't just Carlos. Do not join my show from the bathroom. But other than that,
that'd be great.
But no, it would. But other than that, you guys, 9 o'clock today, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. We got Free for All Friday, so you guys can jump on in. 619 driver, my man Jay, what's up? Good morning. All right, so Jared says he's been wondering about the best movies to watch while lifting. You know what my go-to is Pumping Iron. Throw that on it. Pumping Iron.
Of course.
Okay, but there's some other ones, and I want to know about the best movies to watch while lifting, but also movies that raise your testosterone and make you want to lift. Okay, I got some for that too. But let's hear your list. All right, go. Hold on. I'm gonna give you something you don't deserve. I'm giving you something you don't deserve. Bam.
Bless you. Oh man, come on. You know my very first, always going back to it, same old. From the first time we started talking about this, Commando. Commando is my movie, man. I mean, if you can't get hyped from watching Schwarzenegger pick up a tree, something's wrong with you. Seriously, it's a fact. And if you want to go as far as to the Marvel universe, because I know you,
I spend too much time editing that movie to actually get lost enough in it. I'm sorry.
You're not supposed to get lost in it. The sheer fact that it's just fantasy.
Terminator 2, Predator. Yes, I could do that. And in fact, Predator 2 has a special place in my heart now because I know how old Danny Glover was when you did that movie. So all my old man were like, man, I got to go through this right now. That right now, I resonate with that. I'm here just trying to live my life. You got aliens coming down here bothering me, man. I got to work today. I ain't got time for this. You know what I mean? That's my perfect.
All the crap he had to deal with freaking Riggs. Come on, and as Lethal Weapon.
That's what I think of.
Definitely old. He's very
like in my mind, Danny Glover's character from Predator is the same dude that's in Lethal Weapon. So he kills the Predator, finally gets rid of that, and then gets to work, and Martin Riggs is there waiting for him, and that's when he meets him. And that's why he's like, man, I'm too old for this.
Days from retirement.
There you go. We got some. We got some recommendations in the chat. So we got Jay says Full Metal Jacket. Full Metal Jacket is definitely up there, but I kind of lose interest after they get out of boot camp. And I spend too much time laughing at Full Metal Jacket, okay? Because I've been to Marine Corps boot camp, so I understand like what it was really. So let me back up. It really is like that. But the difference is instead of one dude that gets in your nerves yelling weird junk at you, you got a bunch of, like, we have 4 drill instructors plus our senior drill instructor plus 4 other dudes who didn't care about your life, right? And so that's the only difference. But the things that happen, yeah, it's so I laugh too much. It like maybe there is something wrong with me. That's why they call it Uncle Sam's Misguided Children. But when I watch Full Metal Jacket, I get nostalgic. I'm like, oh man, and the good memories. You know what I'm saying? I think about funny junk that happened in boot camp. So yeah, but no, that's legitimate. That's legitimate. All right, what else you got?
Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and shout out Jared on that one because that's actually my number 3. Predator is definitely my number 3. But you know what?
The bleed. Come on, man.
Oh man, yeah, right. I mean, but number 2 is Blade. I'm gonna go ahead and shout out Wesley Snipes on that one.
Okay. Right? Don't you ruin that movie. I ain't seen it yet. You know the one I'm talking about.
Any.
You know what I'm talking about. Don't.
All I'm saying, Blade.
Yeah. Blade 1. And actually Blade 2 as well. Yeah. Blade 2.
Yeah. But, 1, he walks into that club. The techno music is hitting. If techno music don't raise your testosterone, honestly, you're dead. I'm sorry. I understand a lot of people don't like it, but that's the music to listen to when doing cardio. It raises my
aggression, if that's what you mean. Like, man, turn that junk off.
Recliner, bro. But yeah, so I mean, the violence, the fact that he took a comic book character, brought it out of the pages and made him adult.
Seriously, he didn't make it a joke. Like everybody was like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." Like the scene where he's laid out on the slab with no shirt on and they're getting ready to drain his blood. I was like, that makes you want to lift right there. You're like, "Oh, dang, okay, Wesley, all right." I'll be right back. I gotta hit the gym. I'll be right back. Let's see here. Yeah. There's somebody. Matt is here with a ridiculous. Okay. Yeah, I found it. The Naked Gun and Airplane. Okay. I told you they're different over there, man. That's what happens when you don't have air conditioning in your dang house. You start thinking about the world in a way you shouldn't.
Leslie Nielsen, really? The name alone, that just inspires me to go to a workout. I'm Leslie, yeah.
It builds my motivation to cut it off. All right, okay, so hold up. You mentioned the techno stuff in Blade, right? So I was in Austria in 2015 with my son. He was competing in a powerlifting meet. He's at a Worlds. And so we're walking down, it's nighttime, and we're walking back to our bed and breakfast, right? And it's a little bit darker than I prefer. We're the only Black people, to be honest with you, for about 100 miles. And it didn't help that we went through the Alps to get to the place, right? So it's like really foggy. So it looks like every horror movie, every vampire movie that has ever existed. It's like you really in it.
Supposed to be there.
Yeah. So I'm walking through the dang town. It's this little town called Telfs, Austria. We walk in. It's on the side of the mountain, and we go past the Catholic church. Okay. We go past the Catholic church on the left with the cobblestones. We're like, man, I don't. And then there's like a nightclub, and we hear the noise. It's techno music, right? But it ain't coming from where it's supposed to be coming from. Like in America, if you go past a club, the club is ground level. This club, it was underground. So it's coming from street level. So the street's vibrating with techno. So we turn our head and we look. So remember now, it's down an alley, a very narrow alley. The alley is so narrow that if a car's coming down the alley, you actually couldn't even be on the sidewalk because they would come up on the sidewalk to drive down the street. So you had to make sure there weren't cars coming when you were there. That was a crazy week. So anyway, so we look at this alley. It's dark. We hear the techno music. We have both seen Blade. We both look at each other. Nah. We'll go the long way around. So we went the long way around. Nah. That's exactly what we both said at the same time. Nah. You ain't about to dang slap on me, buddy. Yeah. We stop. Nah. And turn back around and walk the long way around. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
He raises the testosterone. There you go. So look,
Hey.
you were ready to move. So there.
Yeah.
My point
yeah,
exactly.
So we got a vote for Rocky. The training montages in Rocky. Yeah. Especially, to be honest with you, I like
I didn't want to bring that on my list because you just know better.
Yeah, you should just know. The last Rocky movie, is Rocky Balboa, right? Where he's old and he's actually lifting weights, not the ones where he's like chopping firewood. I mean, those are cool too. But I mean, just the fact that he's lifting weights because he's got to fight a dude that he knows is a lot younger than he is. Like, this guy's trying to. And in fact, that's the one where everybody gets that quote from. It's like, it's not about how hard you hit, but how hard you can get hit and keep going. That's from that movie. Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. I might have to watch that today, actually. Let's see. Carbs Gym. Exactly. I'm too old for all this stuff. I can't down the toilet. Yeah. Exactly.
I love it, rings.
That's it.
Got your rings.
Man, he's sitting there, man. He's the man. I can't get up. Riggs. I can't feel my legs.
Oh man.
He said, that's messed up. He said, hey man, don't tell nobody. He said, okay. Next thing you know, they got the news cameras out there. They got everybody outside his house. Oh, that's horrifying. Matt said, referring to my trip to Austria. Yeah, he said, man, I saw this movie. We're going back. You dang right. I ain't about to be part of that. It didn't help that there was also there was a little there was like a shawarma place, and they had. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen like a traditional shawarma place. So they've got like the meat is on a vertical spit, so it's spinning, right? So it looks like a human thigh with the foot cut off. All right. And then you go in there and you're like, yeah, I want whatever. And they say, okay. And you see them take the knife and slice downward on it. So it looked like they're slicing some dude's thigh, slicing strips off some dude's thigh. I was like, look, this is this is like in a little plaza. We walk in, we're like, nah.
It's a good time to go vegan right now.
Exactly. I say, I don't know about this, man. I don't know about anything about this town. So I said, look, this is our first morning that we saw this junk, and then the Blade movie thing happened like 2 nights later. But that first morning, we just said, okay, look, here's the deal. We're gonna sleep in shifts. Okay, we're gonna sleep in shifts, and always somebody gonna watch. I'm gonna go first because you got to compete in the morning. But then after that, we're just gonna rotate.
Oh man.
Jay said anything with Bruce Lee. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
My favorite one is the one where he was fighting Chuck Norris. That's actually my favorite Bruce Lee movie. Not Enter the Dragon. I liked Enter the Dragon, but the one where he's fighting, and then Game of Death where he fought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was actually one of his students. That was really cool too, because that's Game of Death is where he displayed his knowledge of jiu-jitsu that he learned from the great Judo Jean LaBelle, rest in peace. And then Jean LaBelle, in case anybody doesn't know who that is, Jean LaBelle was the guy who choked Steven Seagal unconscious on a movie set for abusing his. Because Jean LaBelle owned a stunt company, and Steven Seagal was always like, he said, Steve, you're being too rough. I heard the story from my martial arts instructor knew Jean LaBelle. And he's the one who told me the story. And actually, Michael Jai White, who's also knows, Jean LaBelle, has told the story as well. But anyway, so the point of it is, he was like, Steve, you got to go easy on my guys. And Steve was like, man, what you going to do, old man? He choked him unconscious. He said, I'm going to do that. But yeah, so he taught Bruce Lee grappling. Yeah, so he taught Bruce Lee grappling, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was one of Bruce Lee's students, and that's why he's in Game of Death, and that's why they had the fight scene. So that was really, I really like that. Okay. Matt said you asked the guy behind the counter what meat that is. He says leg. Yeah, nah. We didn't have a conversation with that dude, man. They were all like Middle Eastern and very intense looking. I didn't know. I was like, I'm not messing with these dudes, man. I'm unarmed right now.
Nice, gold, mouthful of gold teeth.
I'm just not gonna do that. I'm just not gonna do this. We're gonna leave this establishment. We're gonna go to the direct opposite end of town. we're gonna figure something out once we get there.
Son, we're getting a salad. It's just plain and simple.
All right, what else you got?
Okay, all right. So let's hop over to probably one of my new favorite stars, of course, and he's been in the game a lot. Jason Statham.
Okay.
You're watching Transporter. That's another one. Something's wrong with you.
Transporter. Yeah.
Transporter.
Hey, hands down, I love Transporter. That's on my list.
Man.
Definitely. I think
saw that guy looking through that keyhole.
I think Transporter did car chase scenes and whatnot better than most of the Fast and Furious movies. To be honest with you.
Yeah, that's why they had to get him in the game. Honestly,
yeah, I mean,
they had to get him in the game.
Oh, my man, I believe it. Remember when they at the bank and he said, "I can't, we can't go anywhere because I calculated my fuel based upon how many people there was." He said, "You brought an extra person."
Yes. Spray him. Get him out of here.
Choices had to be made. That's hilarious.
That's an excellent movie, man. I mean, that's the first time I think I ever saw Chasers, the bullets and
Tracer rounds, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, oh God, that was just beautiful. Everything about that movie. And when they put some West Coast hip hop in there, when old girl got pulled out of the trunk, what was it? Rest in peace. The guy that used to
Coolio?
No. Big boy. He was a harmonizer with the West Coast.
Oh, Nate Dogg.
Yeah. Nate Dogg.
Yeah.
God love when that I'm like, what? That just worked. That getting chills now thinking about it. That was the smoothest freaking scene. Yeah, so yeah. See,
yeah, I'm a big fan of the Transporter movies.
Yeah.
I think underrated testosterone movie is Captain America: Winter Soldier.
I knew that was coming from you. Told me that was coming from you.
Man, that is my favorite MCU movie to this day, man.
Yeah,
just the fact that, like, when he was on the elevator and he said, "Before we get started, would anybody like to get off?" It's like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, hey, I know what y'all about. You remember who I am, right? that one dude remembered because he was sweating. He said, "Man, how I get?" He's thinking, "Man, I'm too old for this, man."
Days for retirement.
Like 5 days, right? Say, "Man, you know what I gotta do is, I just gotta. Once he swings, I'm going down. It don't matter if he hit me or not. I'm going down."
That's it. Taking a dummy hit.
That's it. Oh. Is he gone? Is he gone?
Don't stop me, bro. Don't stop me.
Wow. All right. So now rank them like because it's like, all right, some of the movies that we named, I have to like be in a mood for, right? But how would you rank them in terms of like, all right, I know I can always do it because actually I got one. Before you do that, I've got one that I would bet nobody has thought about, and that is, I was just talking about, hey, coincidentally, there's my guy Dennis right there. What's up, Dennis? Because I was talking to Dennis yesterday, and I mentioned this. It's the cage video from Animal Pack. It's on YouTube now. We used to have to. Basically, if you bought something from Animal, you could get the cage DVD, right? And we would play that all the time. And what it was is it had like the Lily Bridges on there. I think he had Stan Efferding, had Brandon Lilly when he was still competing in powerlifting. He was really big. And it's just them lifting in the animal cage, and it's talking about what the animal cage is, right? So literally you just go animal cage, and it's actually called The Cage, right? And it's black and white. It's got Richard the Ant Hawthorne, real cool dude. And you just watch, that's the one. So he weighs like 130 something pounds, and you see him deadlifting 600 pounds, right? And they're talking about how he became an animal athlete. They're like, yeah, this little guy comes out. We're talking about doing a deadlift for reps with a 500-pound deadlift competition. And Richard steps up there. He literally weighs maybe 140 pounds. All these big dudes that just deadlifted 500 pounds. And this is back when 500 pounds was legitimately something that you like, can you actually do it, right? Richard said, and they're like looking at him like, all right, yeah, man, and they're telling the story like, yeah, we'll let this guy go ahead and try it, see what happens, right? And he deadlifts 500 pounds 10 times. got himself an animal contract right there.
Yeah.
So when you watch that, movie, that gets you fired up. We used to watch it before Deadlift Day, actually. That's on the radar as well. That's a really good one. I love it.
Definitely.
You guys make sure you're subscribing to @CBSTCR on YouTube so you can check out my guy Carlos's random ramblings and his reviews of various movies and products. And what's the last thing you reviewed for your channel?
Last thing, I believe it was a movie. I have to look back at it, but it was just something recent that
I thought you reviewed like a piece of equipment, like a piece of electronics equipment or something like that.
Actually, I do have some stuff that I was messing with.
Hold on a second. How do I know what's on your channel more than you do?
You
know what? Hold up. How do I know what's on your channel more than you do?
Me and Dresden have been hanging out, so
that's your mistake right there. That's what's wrong with you. That's exactly what the problem is.
Okay. Unteachable. He's like no my more. Sensei, man. I'm like,
say no more. Yeah, you definitely just went astray. All right, let's see. Another recommendation for Jason Statham movies is Crank from Coach Clark.
That's on my list too.
I love that one. Yep. That is just so over the top. It's just insane. You're just like, seriously, but it's just like
lady scene.
Yeah, I really like that. Then as far as I think another was Into the Badlands. If you like kung fu movie vibes, that was on Netflix. Yep. Into the Badlands, man. Yep. You know what? That movie made me so mad because it came out, or that show came out around the same time as Iron Fist did on Netflix. And I was like, how can you screw up Iron Fist, where his whole thing is martial arts, when you got something like Into the Badlands right here showing you how to do it correctly? You know what I mean?
That's
I was like,
probably the last thing I ever binged. Into the Badlands.
Man, that show is so good. I love the world building. Okay, I'm about to nerd out. Let me stop. I love that show.
Yeah. It made me reassess my life because I was sitting there going, I find something else to do because I watched that crap, man. I was like, oh my, I'm like 6 episodes in. I should be doing something. And that's when I realized I can't binge, man. I was like, God, I watched that whole freaking series and was heartbroken when it ended.
Me too. Man, and it was like Avengers because they had a character that reminded me of Black Widow on there. It was just perfect. I gave you the big screen because you got a shout out.
Whoa.
Said he spotted the Mario hats in the background.
Appreciate you. Yeah, it's my nerddom.
There you go. So if you guys are checking out the audio version of this on Podbean, you need to go to YouTube because Carlos just showed his wall showing all of his Mario hats on the wall, as well as some of his other paraphernalia on the walls, comic book covers and movie posters and things like that. So you guys definitely want to check that out.
Nerd life. What's up?
Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with that. At all. All right. So Carlos, I've decided I'm going to go ahead and do this. I was on the fence about whether or not this would be a good idea. I haven't decided it is a good idea, but I'm going to do it anyway. So you can't live your life in fear.
Not a good idea.
Yeah. So you can't live your life in fear. And although I am afraid, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do Recliner of Rage with you on here. This has never happened. Well, it's time now. Here we go. It's the Recliner of Rage.
It's the Recliner of Rage, 'cause he's not happy.
Okay, so I am genuinely upset. Okay, I'm always mad. Okay, but there's levels to how mad I am. But I'm genuinely upset, and this has become a vendetta. All right, it's similar to the vendetta I have against all chickens. All right, because I got attacked by a chicken when I was a little kid, and so as a result, I kill and eat chickens now. I kill them when I kill the babies before they're born, and I cook them in various ways. Then if they happen to survive and become adult chickens, we're gonna slaughter them and we're gonna use them we're gonna fry them, we're gonna boil them, we're gonna broil them, we're gonna bake them, we're gonna add them to various casseroles. All right, we had war against chickens.
Fernando.
We're gonna attack all chickens because they attacked me when I was a defenseless child. So in revenge, I attacked them when they're defenseless children. But similar to that, I was minding my own business in my house where I pay the mortgage, trying to sleep. And you feel something buzzing against your face. You're trying to sleep, right? You're trying to not lose the sleep. So I'm like, you're trying to I'm doing like to detach my fan. Like every time something touches, it's like I go and I smack it, right? I'm like, what is that? So finally, I don't know what it is, but I said, okay, I gotta get up. I get up. I look at the clock. It's 3 hours before I'm supposed to be awake. Okay, all right, no problem. Get up. I go in the bathroom. I shuffle to the bathroom. You don't walk to the bathroom when you first wake up. It's a shuffle. You just shuffle to the bathroom, right? Shuffle to the bathroom. Not quite awake yet. I use the bathroom, and the light's on. I turn the light on. I see the culprit. It's a moth. This moth has been buzzing my face. I don't know how it got in the house, but it's been buzzing my face, right? So I'm like, okay, you know what? I love nature. I love all God's creatures. I said, all right, except chickens. I said, all right. So I go to the kitchen. I come back. It's still in my room, buzzing around. I said, oh, that was your chance to leave, but you won't leave. All right, cool. Well, just like in the Bronx Tale, now you can't leave. So I shut the door because that thing woke me up. So I see the moth. So it's hand-to-hand combat right now. So I'm swinging at the moth, right? I'm swinging at it, and I'm not hitting it. So I'm getting madder and more and more frustrated. So I'm swinging harder. What I should have done is, calm down and, just throwing the jab out, but I didn't. I said, well, we're going to demolish this thing, right? I swing and I miss, and I hit my bathroom countertop so hard that I jam my finger. And if you listen on Podbean, you have to come and see on YouTube, or if you watch on Facebook, you'll be able to see it. So all my other fingers can go down as far as this, right? My ring finger only goes this far. So that means I can't grab the bar. So it affected my bench press earlier this week. How am I supposed to deadlift if I can't grab the bar, right? So, I still, don't get me wrong, I killed them off. But it's affecting me in the gym now. It's affecting me in the gym. So I went to weapon opportunity. I grabbed my T-shirt that was on. I grabbed a T-shirt and I spun that mug around. This is where playing that little, the towel swat game. That's where that comes back to help you in life, because I know how to do that. I swirled it around, killed the moth, dead right there, displayed his carcass for a few minutes to warn other moths away. But they didn't learn apparently, because I seen another one. I said, so I don't know how to get in the house. But I said, well, maybe it's just being in here. And a bunch of them they got a colony. So that dude was an advanced scout. That was an advanced scout. They trying to take over my house. Okay. That ain't happening. So after this show's over, I'm going to Cabela's and I'm buying one of their salt shotguns. That's right. The shotgun that shoots the salt pellets. Yes. I'm going to Cabela's. I'm buying a salt shotgun and I'm killing every moth that's inside my defensive perimeter. Then I'm on squat. Why do I need to kill the moths before I squat? Because I've had a situation where before I had my garage door screen up, I had an animal. I was going, how you get your air before you squat. You're like, oh, okay, to get your air. I did that. And an uninvited animal went up in my mouth.
No.
And I swore myself never again. So basically, the moth has not only interrupted my sleep, which interferes with recovery, which interferes with testosterone production, the topic of this show, but also it got on my dang nerves. So as a result, the moth got to go. And we're going to prevent it from distracting me while I'm trying to squat. So Cabela's, shotgun, kill the moths, all of them. Then I'm on squat.
Punish your shirt. Put a hit out on all of them. Put a hit out on all of them.
Look, they better dang hope I don't try to go on a pilgrimage and find a source of all moths everywhere and just put them at the source.
Just go Frank Castle on them, dude.
I'm telling you, they got to all go. They got to go.
I'll be your man in the chair.
I'm spending money I didn't plan on spending, so they messing with the church's money. I could have put that in the collection plate. But no, they got to go.
Oh,
did you say something? Hold on a second here. I know that some of y'all are talking reckless in the comment section because I see it. So I'm going to put y'all on. Hold on here. So Jay said I just got a flashback of Kevin Hart to my big man pigeon. Okay. All right. That was a gnat, man. That's different. And Matt said I'm going to John Wick on the moth kind. You dang right. And I'm if I see the moth, man, he got to go too. He going to catch it just for being with him.
Kill them all.
Okay. Now here's the last one. Matt says they're hunting me because of my hate on butterflies. You know what, Matt? Let me tell you something. I feel like I keep on having to tell y'all this is a no butterfly zone. You don't want to believe me? Here, I'm gonna prove it. You need to see that again? No butterfly.
No butterflies.
No butterflies. You understand what I'm saying? Let them come. Let them. All right, I'm telling you, I can reload that shotgun too. It takes more than one. It takes more. I'm telling you.
You need to look.
Grossing
no butterflies.
Yeah, that's it. Hold on. Is this something worthwhile, Carlos? Hold on. Bam.
There you go. Let's go. No butterflies.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about.
I can only do that so long.
It took like a year and a half, but we finally on the same page. What are you talking about?
That's a conversation,
Matt,
but not on air.
Matt, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? What is what? What are you talking about? You talking about this? You talking about that? Told you, no butterflies, man. No butterfly zone.
There you go. Oh God, that's ridiculous.
He said hands are rated D for butterflies because it's on the site. It's on site. I'm telling you. I'm just telling you, no butterfly zone, and we extend that to moths because they with them. All right. Anyway,
you need a patch on the side of your barrel. Just that's nice. Big, yeah, like a big no Ghostbusters thing. That'd be great. That would be great.
Anyway,
butterflies and moths. Same thing. Same family.
I gotta pay my bills. The Recliner of Rage is sponsored by Freedom Fitness Equipment. It's the only place to get Garage Gym Life banners, in case you were wondering. And there's no need to be in the Recliner of Rage when your home gym is outfitted with what you need to achieve your fitness goals. So check out our banners by going to my guy Ashton at freedomfitnessequipment.com, or you can just give him a call at 980-216-4860. Believe it or not, that's actually his phone number. And if you reach out to him, he'll not only sell you one of our high quality banners, but he'll also work with you to help you build the best gym in town. And don't believe me about the banner quality. Carlos got our banner in his home gym. Talk about the banner, Carlos.
Oh man, I love my banner. I've had it for a couple of years. I have yet to have to take it down to clean it. It looks gorgeous. It's been in 2 places. You gotta go get one. Heck, get 2.
There you go.
Love
yeah.
it.
One, so that's actually a fantastic idea. You buy one banner for your own house, and you have another one that travels with you. So everywhere you go, you're like, "Hey, I'm here, but it's Garage Gym Life wherever I go." There you go. That's a great idea. Look at you, Carlos. You just got nothing but good ideas today. I don't know what you drank today. Whatever you have for breakfast, do that again tomorrow. You're gonna probably get a raise when you get to work. They're gonna think you're a genius.
Hey. You must mess up my Friday.
Getting your life. I'm getting your life
together. Work with aspirations.
Hey, hey, man. Before we let you go, because I know you got to get out of here, get on the road so you can get to work. Let everybody know what's coming up on your channel, what movies you're going to be reviewing, anything like, and basically how they can keep up with you. Also, I want everybody. I'll just do this real quick because I forgot to do this earlier. But I want to make sure. All right, so tell them your Instagram as well, because that mug is long.
Instagram is CBS True Consumer Reviews. Oh, one big old giant word. And find me on at CBS TCR on YouTube. And I am working on, like I said, I'm reviewing this Asus Zephyrus G16 gaming laptop, and I've got an unboxing of a new Razer mouse. And I just got to put those edits on there and drop those suckers down so you guys can get a gander of Nerd Tech.
Nerd Tech. All right. Well, man, I appreciate you being here. I've got this thing, so I'm going to go ahead and add it to our banners. So they'll go across the bottom of the screen. That way everybody is able to find it. But if you need the link, just go to the description that's in the video description. And when you go to the video description, you'll see the link to check out Carlos here on YouTube, also to go to Instagram and follow him. And I'll tell you now, Carlos, he's a good follow because he follows everybody back just about, So, you just like, man, I'm just one follower shy of 1,000 or 2,000 or 25,000. hit your boy Carlos up, and he'll probably follow you back. All right. So, man, there it is. Follow at CBS True Consumer Reviews on Instagram. And I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you being here, dude. It's always fun.
Always fun. Always fun.
We're just going to do it again next month, my man. All right.
Yeah.
All
Cheers,
right,
everybody.
Later. All right. So that was our boy Carlos. He is a real person. That way y'all know Carlos isn't just from my burner account. When y'all see him in the comment section in the live chat, Carlos actually exists. And he's a really cool dude. As you guys can see, he's a really cool dude. I like him. He's a fellow nerd. And he actually, if you have any tech questions, a lot of time, especially about video equipment, cameras, anything like that, he's actually a really good resource. He is actually, side note, he's the one that got me upgraded my headphones. He hooked me up with those. So I appreciate Carlos for everything that he does. Let's see. Let's go back here. It said there's a math. Okay, we got a math equation here. It said 1 Garage Gym Life banner equals plus 20 kilograms to lift. So 2 banners must equal plus 40 pounds. Oh, definitely. Of course. Definitely. Wait a minute. Hold on a second here. I don't feel like your math is correct because you said 1 banner equals plus 20 kilograms. And 20 kilograms is 44 pounds and some change. So 2 banners can't equal 40 pounds. What are they teaching y'all over there in school, Matt? What's going on here? Just buy a banner. We'll figure out how much it helps you out later. All right. Let's go ahead and jump into the next thing before we bring on our next guest. And that's going to be news and other things. All right, so news and other things. Matt said, first of all, Matt says, I'm trying to make you all change the metrics so I don't have to keep doing conversions. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen, okay? I told you, we get to pick the units of measurement because we won not 1 but 2 world wars, okay? That's just the way it goes. Anyway, Ve Victus, buddy. So we've got a couple of items here. The first one, and I think it's the biggest one, is the Labor Day sales have started. So we've got AbMat has 3 offers and 3 different promo codes going available. And to be honest with you, I thought about remembering all that junk and copying all of that when I saw it in my email inbox, but nah, I'm not about that life. So I'm not going to do that. So instead, I'm just going to show you what's hit my inbox so far. And it is, so this is the AbMat Labor Day sale. So as you guys can see, so it's got 3 different promo codes. So the first one is, if you want it, you can get 5% off any order of $50 or more. You get 5% off any order of $50 or more if you use code HUSTLE5 at checkout. Then to get 10% off any order of $150 or more, you want to use code GRIT10. And then to get 15% off of orders that are $300 or more, you want to use code GRIND15. All right. So those are your 3 promo codes from AbMat. If you guys just literally, if you guys need those, I could put them in the live chat. But that's only good for this weekend, as far as I know. Then the second Labor Day sale that I'm aware of, I know there are probably more, but these are the ones that came in my inbox so far. Bells of Steel has a Labor Day sale as well. Their Labor Day sale is a little bit different, and it is predicated on how much you spend, right? So let's go ahead and I'll show you guys this. So first of all, you see that they're Canadian, because look how they spell labor. That's just how they do it up there. But the way that it goes is if you spend $1,000, you'll get a $200 single-use discount code. If you spend $2,000, you get a $500 single-use discount code. And if you spend $3,000 or more, you'll get an $800 single-use discount code. So basically, you can get these discount codes. They'll level up as you spend money. So I would say, I am curious though about it. So like, let's say you're buying you're buying a power rack or something, right? So let's say you're buying a power rack and you're going to have a functional trainer attachment or something like that on there. What I'm curious about is, because I haven't done the math, I wonder if, let's say you've got $5,000 that you're total going to spend. I wonder if it might be worth it to spend 3,000 of it, get your $800 discount code, come back and do another purchase, use the discount code, and like you actually end up saving a little bit more money if you do it that way. So just out of curiosity, I don't know. Or it may not be worth all that hassle because that would affect your shipping as well. But it's just something I thought about. All right, let's see here. So we've got some stuff dropped in here. I have to do. All right, so Carp says, my guy, 619 driver, there are several companies running Labor Day sales if you're buying new stuff. He definitely is buying stuff. I can tell you that right now. And in fact, if you weren't going to be going to work, Jay, I would definitely let you have you come on for Free for All Friday and just talk about some of the stuff that you're looking at getting. I know a lot of it because he's been, messaging me. We've been talking back and forth a little bit, but I think it'd be interesting to you guys. But yeah, so honestly, if you just Google Labor Day sale and home gym, you'll probably pop up a bunch of those things. You'll probably see some of the major companies will pop up. The only thing is some of the smaller brands might not show up, you know what I mean? Because they can get drowned out by the Google algorithm. Jared said, Matt's trying to give us a math quiz this early in the morning. I know, man. I don't know what's wrong with this dude. It's because he's in the future. So it's afternoon for him. So hold up. Is it? It's almost afternoon for him. So he's had a little bit more time to wake up. Hey, my guy, Andrew, what's up, man? No, long time no talk. Says, good morning from North Carolina. I was actually in North Carolina not too long ago. I just did. It was a quick trip, so I didn't have time to swing by La Casa Go RX, so I would have. Jay said his emails are full. He's been interested in rep for a while. I think I want to support Surplus Strength with a power rack from them. Attachments will come later. So I can tell you right now that Surplus Strength is an outstanding company to support. Kurt has a Surplus Strength rack, and he's really happy with it. They've also got the UPS that is really cool. And they were actually the ones that had the original storage shelving too. So I don't think you can go wrong with Surplus Strength. Joey said you could get a Dane rack loaded up for $2,200. Yeah, and I was watching Gluck's review of the Dane the other day. Some of the stuff that he was complaining about, that sounded negative. I don't mean complaining about it in a negative way. I mean the things that he was pointing out that he feels like they could do better. Some of those things I would say are things that if it's let's say you're all right, I'm going to buy this rack and this is the only one I'm ever going to buy, it may matter to you. But if you're getting a rack and you're I may, 5 years from now, I'm leaving open the possibility that I might sell this and get something different because the market is going to change. It wouldn't, to me, it shouldn't really matter. And like I said, you can get one for $2,200. You'll get a very good rack. You're not going to get the best. You're not going to get the absolute best rack with a functional trainer attachment, I don't think. But you're going to get a very good, solid rack that's going to last you a very long time. I think that's the best way to say it. And it also depends on how much money you have available because I do agree with what you're saying there, Jared. You said buy once, cry once. But what if you only have $2,500 saved up? All right, well, that's what I have in the budget. So I don't think that you can go wrong. If your budget has $2,500 right now, you can't go wrong, I don't think, in buying the Dane from Fringeport, continue to save money, and then sell the Dane or buy an upgraded rack and then sell the Dane and get some of your money back. Said holiday discount 25% off. Yep. Carb agrees that Surplus Strength is awesome quality. I actually Yeah, I remember I went by his house and he gave me a home gym tour a while back. I'll dig up that video so you guys can kind of see some of the stuff that he had at the time. So I've actually touched his stuff. Ooh, pause. I've actually touched the equipment that he has, and I think a lot of it. But then a lot of you guys saw it at Home Gym Con as well. Let's see here. Yes, and I am aware that Fringe Sport is making a 1.1 version now. With a few small tweaks. Yeah, I mean, I expected that because, they got it out to some of the guys like Gluck and Kyle, and those reviews informed, like when Peter was on, he was to talk about how, they make changes based upon the feedback that they get from customers. So yeah. And last one says, Carp said that if he was starting over, he'd definitely be considering surplus strength because he's local. Yeah, he's not in Nashville, and he's seen the quality firsthand, which is, I agree with that 100%. Like I said, my dad lives in Nashville, so I was up there and I swung by and I checked out his the surplus strength HQ and checked out the stuff he's got in his own home gym, and I was really, really impressed with the quality of their products. So we've got Holly Sullivan's going to be coming up within the next. She's going to be coming up at 5 after the hour. I see her backstage, and so we'll be adding her to the show in a little bit. But in the meantime, we got one more sale to talk about. And since you guys brought up the Fringe Sport weekend sale, I'll just go ahead. I've got that tab pulled up as well, so I'm going to go ahead and let you guys check out what I have. So this is what's in their weekend sale specifically, but then once you're there, you obviously can go look at other things. So I don't know anything about any discount codes or anything like that, but these are some of the things that they just have under the weekend sale tab. And then if you go to deals and discounts, which is what I just clicked, you'll see sales and promos. So that shows you a whole other number of things, like the Mammoth Belt Squat with a free kickstand. Hey, these plastic mini kettlebell paperweights, those are legit. I've got one here at the house, and everybody sees them. We pull them out every Christmas and use them as Christmas ornaments, and everybody sees them like, oh, those are so cool. I let my granddaughter play with them, and she's a huge, that nothing says "oh" like with a picture. It's like "oh," when you have like a baby playing with these plastic kettlebells. But they're pretty cool paperweights too. So anyway, so you guys can see, you get the strongman yoke that you could use that will also double as a squat rack or bench setup. They got the band peg sets, a lot of different things here. You guys see the I think Carp, you've got the pizza plates or the donut plates. And so pretty sure you're a big fan of those. And that's it as far as the sales that I know about. Okay, so there we go. Carp says the more you spend, the more you save. So over $100 is 10% off 300, 20% off over 500 is 25% off. And I'm assuming that's for Fringe Sport. So there you go. Now, see, it's 6:53, so we got time for one more news item. And you guys can blame 619 Driver for this one, right? So he emailed me this thing. First of all, I see the link. It said, hey, so he emails me, says, hey, check this out, right? That's all the email says. Hey, check this out. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, what do you mean? So it looked like spam, right? It was like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I'll just show you guys what it looked like when it came in. When I saw it, I was like, this looks like the most sketchy email, right? Look at this right here. Jay, but it didn't even show me. I know who it is now, right? I'm trying to cover up his email address. But anyway, but it's like that right there. And it just had this link, right? So that looked like the most spam-filled death trap for my email and my computer ever. I said, what is this, man? But I said, okay, let me just, so I Googled it, right? And then I saw what it was. I was like, oh, okay. So it's this thing from Flexicon, right? So here's the Flexicon. And so I went ahead and I checked it out. They had the audacity to say the home gym revolution begins here. So as you guys can see, first of all, y'all know how I feel about this resistance band thing, right? But but this is the Flexicon gym. It's a Kickstarter, right? Now, Jay wasn't trying to get me to get it. He said he thought that I would find it interesting to talk about here, which is why I'm doing it. So shout out to you, Jay. But this is it, right? And I'm like, what? And now here, this is what it looks like in action. So this is the Flexicon home gym. It's based on resistance band because it's made by Body Elastics. All right. So Body Elastics have, their bread and butter is resistance bands and resistance tubing. So they've made this entire contraption basically as a vehicle for their bands. I'm going to just tell you right now, that dude that they used in that video did not get that size using Body Elastics anything. Okay. I'm just going to tell you that flat out. And if he did, I'm going to need to see time-lapse video evidence. And he got to have a Body Elastics resistance band in his hand in every video holding a dang newspaper, because I don't believe it. All right. Call me what you want, but you can also, my middle name in whatever name that is I don't believe you. Okay. So nah, man. Yeah, exactly. Carlos says, never open a message that starts with, hey, check this out. Heck no. I was like, man, that looks like spam. You ain't getting me. No, not at all. I've seen this movie. I've seen this movie too. So I'm just, first of all, it's a Kickstarter. Like I said, I'm not here to knock anybody's dreams. So if they're able to get this thing going, God bless them. If you guys would like to know how to be involved in this Kickstarter, I am happy to give you the link. If you ask, I'll put the link in the live chat, or if you're watching on replay, I'll put the link in the comment section. They're not getting my money, but I am gonna, I am down with, I'm not here to get in the way of their progress. I'm just not gonna assist their progress in any way that I can imagine at this point. Yeah, that's the perfect way to say it. All right. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is we talked about hives from lifting weights. Give you an update. I told you guys last week, my buddy from church gets hives from squatting, right? And so our theory is that it's related to the barbell, the pressure from the barbell. Well, he was able to squat with a sandbag and has zero issues. So it's looking like the pressure of the bar in that one little small area, the diameter of the bar is a small area. So it's digging into his traps in his upper back, and it's causing him the hives because, like I said, he's able to squat with a sandbag across his back, across his shoulders, didn't have any issues. So he spread it out. So the next thing I told him was, yeah, go ahead, give a safety squat bar a try, because that also spreads it out a little bit, and that might help him as well. That's just like let's circle back, because it was something that was on my mind. I don't know if you guys are wondering about it, but I told you anyway. All right. It is now 6:57. And so let's go ahead and just give our shout out to the Central Time Zone right now. Shout out to the Central Time Zone. See, there it is. Shout out to you guys. Welcome to the Up Way Too Early with Garage Gym Life show. I'm John Grease III. I'm a founder of Garage Gym Life, and this is the perfect show to get your weekend started off the right way. We're going to give you motivation for your fitness journey, information about anything that's related to home gym equipment, and basically try to entertain you for about 3 hours every Friday. So if this is your first time here, do me a favor and help me grow the channel. Hit like, hit subscribe. That'll also help you, because it tells YouTube that that's the kind of stuff that you want to see on YouTube, because it looks at what you like, what you engage with, and what causes you to subscribe. So it'll help you out, and it'll help me out at the same time. And then beyond that, if you have already been a subscriber, I appreciate it. Please, number one, share this video with somebody else who you think might enjoy it or who can be inspired by my next guest. And then here's the other thing that you can do to support us. Hey, I don't want you to just watch this video. I need you to like, subscribe, and if you're already a subscriber, I want you to join our channel for 99 cents a month so you can help us improve YouTube for the home gym community. Okay, back to the video. All right, so there you go. I appreciate all you guys who choose to support us in whatever way you choose to support. It really does mean a lot to me. This is my dream, my retirement plan. It's something I've been wanting to make a reality for a long time. So the fact that you guys care enough about this to hang out with me for 3 hours every Friday means a lot. And shout out to all of you guys who do it. All right. let us go ahead, and now we've got our next guest is all queued up. Ready? Are you ready to go, Holly? All right. I don't know if you shook your head, nodded, or if you're doing both. Yeah, there we go. All right. So full speed ahead. Fire one. Show your love to Holly. What's up, Holly? Are you using a phone?
Nope, I'm using my iPad.
Well, does it have auto rotate on it? We're gonna find out right now. All right, can you rotate it? Because periodically I'm gonna give you the full screen effect, and it'll just look better if somebody happens to be watching on the computer screen. If it's sideways, if it's in landscape, bam! Look at that.
Oop,
look at you just taking over. There you go. That's perfect. No, that's all right. Watch. We'll do it like this. Bam! Nobody can even see what you're doing right now. They just see my face. So the thing about Holly, I want to give you guys, she didn't know I was going to do this, but so I've been checking out Holly's profile for several years. She's got a background that goes back, I think, maybe 20 years of lifting. She's done street parking, which is basically CrossFit style programming. She actually started out in a public gym. We'll talk about that a little bit. And then she did several years of powerlifting. But when I discovered her profile, she was doing Olympic lifting on her back deck. And that's so like in my head, when I think about your profile, Holly, I know you have a garage gym too, but when I think about your profile, I think of your your back deck, right? And so let me see if I can pull this up here. I've got let me see. It's I was trying to see, like, you had like some videos. No, that's the progress photo. Yeah, I'll pull it up right here. Yeah, where it shows your man, where is this thing? It's like it shows your deck, and I'm just like, what is it that? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, Holly's back deck gym. All right. Can you hold on? Can you hear that? Can you hear that?
Nope.
No, you can't hear it? Okay, all right. Well, that's all right. All right, so let me do this like this. So, boom. You remember this?
Yep.
Look at that right here. So, it's like when I think of this, yeah, that is where you were when I first ever encountered your training at all. And it was you weren't the first person I knew with a backyard gym, but it was really just cool to me, just seeing that environment, seeing you lifting out there. You're probably looking at it and like judging your technique and all that. But to me, it's just like, oh, wow, check, it was just so raw. Because, with Olympic lifting, with weightlifting, you don't really need you don't have a ton of stuff around you when you're actually completing the lift. It's like in powerlifting, there's like, spotter arms, safety, there's all kinds of stuff around, right? With Olympic lifting, it's you and a bar. And so in that, I saw it, I was like, it was you, a bar, just outside in the sunshine, just lifting. And something about that just kind of struck a chord with me. So, I kind of asked you a little bit something about it later on, but that's just what I think of whenever we're even like in the Discord when we're talking. That's how I picture you out on your back. I don't care if it's December. I picture you out on your back deck, defying gravity with weight out in the elements, and it's just the rawest thing ever. So that's really, really cool. So I appreciate it. You got people who are extremely happy to see you here. So Holy Holly, is that the first time anybody's ever said that?
Yes.
All right. Well, there you go. So Carlos, you're a pioneer. Holy Holly. There you go. All right. Have you, is this your first time watching the show or being part and seeing the show at all? Okay. All right, cool. Oh, this is awesome. All right. So, welcome. Let's go ahead and introduce everybody to you. I kind of did a little bit, but we're going to introduce everybody to you, allow you to do it. So you are, in addition to all the cool home gym stuff I talked about and you're lifting, you're also a cervical cancer survivor. And that's tough enough by itself. But you got that diagnosis on top of already having, I practice in the mirror, okay? Spondylolisthesis. Did I say it right?
Spondylolisthesis.
Gee whiz. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Hey, I see y'all laughing at me in the live chat, okay? But everybody in the live chat practice too. Spondylolisthesis. Whoa. Say it again.
Spondylolisthesis.
Spondylolisthesis.
Yep.
Yeah, we're not going to be saying that anymore.
We shorten it to spondy. It's a little easier to say spondy, and spondy sometimes also encompasses spondylolitis, spondylosis, but spondy encompasses basically anything that's going to impact your spine.
Okay, so that was going to be my response then, because when I was trying to research this, I came up with spondylitis and spondylosis. So to save everybody from having to Google, because I know that's where they're headed, what is the one that you have? See how I avoided saying it? The one that you have, what's the main way that it affects you?
It impacts the vertebra of your spinal column. You actually just posted a really good video, kind of like a quickie on what it is, how it impacts you, and how it doesn't actually mean that your life's over and you're never going to be able to move again. Because what it does is the vertebra actually shift in your spinal cord. And it usually impacts your lower back. It can be anything from an injury, how you stand. I typically stand very tilted. So it's just been years of poor posture. The pain for me started in high school, which would make sense because, you know, as a kid, you're sitting and standing in all kinds of weird, twisty, bendy positions. But it's believed that mine is from having that poor posture, tip forward kind of. So when it flares on me, it's because those little vertebrae are wiggling towards one side of the other or either straight out of my spinal cord.
All right. So the craziest thing I found when I looked it up was that you could have this and not even realize it, or not even show any obvious symptoms until you get an x-ray. And they said typically you're getting an x-ray for something else. And the doctor says, oh, yeah, by the way, did you know that you've got this, right? How did you discover you had it?
I was just having a lot of back discomfort. And it started in high school. And then, of course, you know, it's the 90s. So it's a totally different atmosphere. I didn't really feel like I had anybody to talk to about it because I'd already at that point established, because of the mindset of the older people in the 80s and 90s, was you moved on with it and everything was fine. You're okay. You're just a kid. You'll grow out of it. But it wasn't going away. So in my 20s, I started to go to doctors, which I got brushed off. It took 7 years, 11 different doctors.
Hold on, they just brushed you off like, oh, there's nothing wrong with you? They wouldn't even x-ray you?
I had one doctor in a doctor's appointment tapping on my knee to check my reflexes, asking me if I've ever considered going to therapy, like counseling. Like just totally brushing off the pain. And I remember that doctor.
Go to counseling for being in pain?
Yep. And unfortunately, in advocating for my chronic illnesses with doctors and stuff, it's a very common response when you're there for pain. As a woman, they tend to associate, because a lot of studies don't, until now, they're now starting to study the female body impacts of pain, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, it's through really no fault of their own. It's an unintentional bias that they've developed through medical school, because there's just, every study was done on a man's body, how it impacts them, et cetera.
Gotcha.
And
okay. But can't men get this too?
Men can get this too. Yep.
So, as soon as I read it, I was like, I immediately started looking. I started touching my own back, like, "Oh, am I good? Am I good?" All right.
And I got lucky, and I remembered I had to see an on-call doctor once because I have a lot of problems with my ears. And I had an ear infection, and my doctor happened to be out. And I remember going to the on-call doctor, and he was the first doctor in all the history of doctors I'd ever been to explain to me why I get ear infections so often, because my eustachian tubes never fully developed. They were short and narrow, so the fluid couldn't drain. And I'm like, okay, so if he was that good and quick with that, let's go see if he can. He happened to be taking patients. And he first initially, after looking through all my records, talking with other doctors, including a back specialist, he gave me the initial diagnosis of the spondylosis without an x-ray. And then unfortunately, a couple weeks later, I fell down the stairs at my house. which required
wow.
an x-ray. And that is when he called me and had me come in, and he goes, we need to change this because, and then he showed me my spine and the position of my vertebra and my lower back. And so that was when I got the official spondylolisthesis diagnosis.
All right. So let me start one other thing, because you were not really, you were fairly thin, you were slender, right? So
Yeah.
did you do like gymnastics or anything? Because they said that that's another thing that could overstretch your spine if you do gymnastics or weightlifting for male. Well, I guess girls play it too. Like if you play football, it's like basically any activity that overstretches your spine could cause the vertebrae to start to slip. So you didn't do any of that.
No,
Any
I
sports
can't
like
even
that?
do a cartwheel.
Wow. Okay. Okay. All right. That's wow. All right. So now that you know that you have it, from me doing my Googling, basically it says that the main thing is standing and walking. Like you start having like pain and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't even know how you manage that, standing and walking. I mean, that's how you get everywhere. That's how you approach the bar. Let's just dial it down to the weightlifting. You approach the bar by approaching the bar.
Yeah.
You walk, right? Weightlifting involves standing up with weight. So, and then you're a mother. So at some point you've stood up and walked with a kid. So you've had this entire time, right? How much stronger are you now that you can look back at your footprints in the sand and say, you know what, I had to deal with this thing that would stop average people from just walking. And I've been able to lift in not one, but two different strength sports, and also do other things that a mom has to do, carrying the kid, when they can't walk, just all the things, how much stronger are you now mentally and emotionally from just coming through? And now you're I wouldn't say you're on the other side of it, but at least you're on the other side of a lot of it.
It's definitely, I feel like just having the chronic illnesses between that, the PCOS, the endometriosis, it's definitely changed my life view. I used to be like a very negative person, cups empty, not even half full. Couldn't see the silver lining in anything. I always felt like I was doomed. But I sort of developed an adapt or die, complacency kills kind of mindset. And it's been what has given me, I call it the grit to keep going each day and dig my heels in to prove that I'm not done yet. I'm not dead yet. I've still got life left of me. And I'll have people who will read my Instagram posts and they'll message me and they'll ask, like how I reconcile with the fact that this could potentially impact my future. Because especially with the PCOS, the endometriosis, your comorbidities are common. Life's shorter for people with chronic illness. And it's like, I'm here to enjoy whatever stretch I've got left. I'm looking at it in my early 40s as someone who hopefully is only halfway there. But, I've also lost a lot of people in my life. My best friend died when I was 17. I went through 2 suicide clusters in high school, so I lost a lot of friends through that. So I know how quickly life can change. So it's kind of given me the mindset to enjoy the moment. If something bad's happened, there's a silver lining there somewhere. It was meant to happen. And that, tomorrow is going to show me why that happened today. And a lot of the reasons it's like, okay, I didn't get my workout in yesterday because it's going to be an awful workout. And then I nail my lifts and add weight the following day because I was able to, put it off that day.
That is so, it's like the things you're saying, I'm thinking like about specific Instagram posts that you've made that kind of like refer back to those things, right? Like even when you say, okay, so for example, you're saying that it might be you didn't you might not work out because it might be a horrible workout, right? Because you've got chronic pain. It's like the thing that people who are watching this or listening to this, shout out to you if you're listening to the audio version on Podbean. We're talking to Holly Sullivan. She's an author and a master's weightlifter. But like, you're in chronic pain. So the things that hurt other people don't even register with you, right? So I thought it was interesting when you had this post where you were talking about how you didn't realize that you had damaged your hand because you're always in pain. So in this, I didn't even notice the bandage until I read the post. And I've seen that before, but I didn't even notice the bandage in this picture until I was going back through your Instagram and I saw the, I clicked on the entire caption and you said, I feel pain in a different way. So you basically were supersetting raking with lifting, which is, if that doesn't say home gym, I don't know what does. But you right. So then now you've got an open wound in your hand. You're like, oh yeah, okay, I have to. So you just bandaged up and went back to the bar, right? Mm-hmm. But you said you learned a lesson about, or you've learned lessons about kind of staying hyper aware of your body and actually listening. Like, hey, what do I need to ignore and what do I need to pay attention to in terms of pain signals? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
I mean, it boils down to, growing up, I didn't really have a village. And that was hard. A lot of things I had to do and get through on my own as a young adult in college. It was definitely a different environment for me than my friends. I had to work full time. I was juggling an internship, college, and keeping a roof over my head. So that, and then, who's going to pay the bills? I have to go to work. I hurt today. I have to go to work. I have to go to work. And that just kind of builds and builds and builds over time, where it rewires your body's perception of pain. So it's almost like the alarm levels change. They need to be more alarming, so to speak. So it really boils down to, like, I was having these back pains, back flares, and I didn't know what was going on, like with the endometriosis, with the pain in my core and everything. I had no choice but to go on, and my body's response was, okay, well, we'll get better. But unfortunately, at the same time, like, unless I hit my funny bone, I'm not going to realize that I've whacked something until I'm looking at a bruise going, how'd I get that? Because I don't remember ramming my shin against something. Right. Or like, I was unloading an air conditioner off the cart the other day at Lowe's because ours broke, and was loading it into the back and the box bit me, and I didn't realize it until I got home, and I'm like, oh, my hand's bloody. And then I'm like, well, crap, I have to lift today. What am I going to do? So it was another tape it up and go out there and get my lifting session done. I look like I'm getting ready to go for a fight the way I wrapped it with my thumb tape. But
you are.
And it's just one of those, if I don't pay attention to body cues, especially with the spondy, it can impact me further. Like with the spondy, the more I push a flare, the worse the flare is going to get. And unfortunately, with the spondy, it can wear down your vertebra to a point where you end up with nerve damage. And the nerve damage for me will impact my legs. There will be times where my legs will feel like they're very, like someone's poured acid on them. You can't even touch them. It burns my skin just to be touched. And that's a part of the nerve relays going into my legs through my spinal cord. So that's like a big fear for me. Like, if I let this go, my nerves are going to be damaged. I'm, not going to have feeling in my legs, or I'm going to have to deal with this feeling in my legs for the rest of my life. And I'm a mom, I'm a dog owner, I'm a very active person. So it's a very, very tight rope that I have to walk to be able to do the things I do, but also honor the space that my body needs at times too, without telling me that it needs that time.
That's a lot of like hyper awareness. How do you manage that when you say that ADHD is not necessarily it's something that may be a challenge now, but earlier, if you're like living in like a more primitive society, you're the one that's going to survive, because if you are too hyper focused on one thing, then you're the one that gets snuck up on by the large animal that kills you. But if you're constantly like on, okay. And so I remember when I was in the Marine Corps, like if you were ever like going on patrol, they tell you to, like, people have heard the phrase head on a swivel. Well, that's what it kind of is. You're like, you can't focus on just, now you can't, like, your eye can't pass over stuff.
Yeah.
But you can't stay still. You have to like constantly, because I looked that way. Well, the person that's attacked might want to try to hurt me is over there. And they were hiding till I turned my head. So I got to go right back over here, right? And so it's actually, when I took, shout out to my cultural anthropology teacher, he was saying that actually is what they call it, a latent survival trait. And we just have to figure out how to manage it nowadays in our current, environment. Yep. So with that being said, you've got it. So how do you handle being hyper aware of your body, which requires a little bit of mental stillness, when you've got this survival trait in your creativity mix too?
It boils down to, and my therapist and I have actually talked about it a couple of times. One of my favorite things to hyper focus on is my health. And that stems from the fact that I have so little of actual health, what we deem as normal health. So I'm always, like checking in with myself, looking at ways that I can better improve how I'm feeling that day. Especially as a woman with things that impact my hormones and my metabolism. And I'm in my early 40s. So if you're a woman watching this, you know what that means. So I feel like I sometimes I'm a little, with OCD, with the ADHD, I'm a little obsessive about my health and making sure that everything I'm doing is aligning with something that's going to keep me on this path forward. So sometimes it does get tricky, because sometimes something else shiny will come into the picture and distract me for a little bit. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's just like a great big stop sign in front of my face. Like, whoa, you need to back up, pump the brakes, scale it back, take a look at the big picture again, and then go forward.
So now you got me thinking, well, because I'm like, all right, so once you understand like what, it's like a SWOT analysis, right? So it's like, okay, I know what my strengths and my weaknesses are. Well, what are my opportunities? What are the threats? Okay. So when I approach it like that, I'm like, all right, well, so how can I maximize my training environment, for example, to make it so that I can concentrate? So for example, for me, I don't like having people behind me at all. I mean, unless I know you, right? So I don't lift with my back to the garage door. But in your situation, assuming your kid isn't out there fighting with the, what did he fight? Fall down and blame the dog, but the dog was inside? Yep. Whatever. Yeah, okay. All right. So assuming your kid isn't out there, you don't have to keep an eye on him. Do you like face away from the door? Because I see sometimes like so like how do you adjust your training environment to help you stay centered on in the moment?
I basically make sure that like they know not to walk in front of me, because like if I see anybody in my peripheral, that's it. I can't, even if it is only 55 pounds on that bar.
I'm sorry for cutting you up, but I'm smiling because you said they know not to walk. And as you said that, your son turkey peeked around the corner. So I just saw his face. I was like, him. Yeah, we're talking about you.
Yeah.
All right, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
But yeah, I can't. Like the dog will be fine. She can like peek her head through the garage door, and I can see her in my peripheral, and it won't mess me up. But if I see my son lurking because he wants to come in to grab a toy, or like my husband used to come in and grab a tool, like sometimes he'll walk up to the garage door and you'll see him hesitate too, because it's like, just let me get through this one lift and then you can come in, because it does not take much for my brain to just be like, nope, we're done for the day. We're not even going to be able to lift this 55 pounds. And then I have to like basically start all over again.
So weightlifting is a very technical sport. So you're talking about if a flare up happens, it gets worse if you ignore like the warning signs. you had to so you had like the cervical cancer thing that you were battling, and you had ended up having surgery. You had to take a long time away from lifting. Weightlifting is very technical. The more technical something is, the more time you have to do it in order to become proficient at it, right? So never mind the actual getting better at the lift. How do you handle the mental challenge of knowing as an athlete, hey, I need to be doing this if I want to get better, but I can't do it for the sake of my health. How do you stop yourself and say, no, we're actually getting better by not touching the bar right now?
Yeah. It was really,
because I haven't learned that. Okay. So teach me right now. I don't know how to do that. Go ahead.
It was so hard. I mean, and I was really worried because and everything happened really fast last year. Because I've been dealing with the LEAP, the laparoscope, like the little things where they take the precancerous cells off the cervix for years. It was 2017 when I was diagnosed with the precancer cells on my cervix. So it was an ongoing thing, but things really shifted last year, and my biopsy came back that it was cancerous now, and these were my options. And yeah, I chose the most drastic one, but if it was something that I could cross off the list and be able to hopefully move on and away from, that was the option that I took. But unfortunately, that one also brought me with severe downtime. And I think the only other time that I was down for any length of time and away from lifting of any kind was postpartum after I had my son. And I remember how stir crazy I went with that, even having a newborn. So it's like, what am I going to do with a grown child to keep me occupied? So I'm not thinking about this. And at the same time, the tricky thing with the spondylosis is the less I move, the more my back hurts.
Oh, God.
So I was worried about that too. It's kind of like a catch-22. You move too much, it hurts. You don't move enough, it hurts.
Wow. Okay.
So I remember counting down the days to my last workout before my surgery last November, knowing that it was going to be a while before I'd be able to touch the bar again. And then it was actually a little depressing. And that first week, I was dealing with like the post-surgery pain and the fog from the medications and everything. So the first week wasn't too bad, but after Thanksgiving, like December was probably, and of course it's December, and up here in the north, December is very gray, dark, cold.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you said it's like 12 degrees in your garage.
So sometimes it's very cold out there. We've been
I'm against
trying to juggle the ever changing prices of construction, because we can build it ourselves, because that's what my husband does for a living. But
okay.
We've been trying for a couple of years now to get a new garage, because it's leaning one way and also leaning the other way. The wind blows through it. So the heater will help, but at the same time, it doesn't help enough.
Right.
When it gets cold enough out there.
Because I was wondering why you guys didn't just like blow in some insulation or something like that.
It probably if it's already through the walls.
Yeah, that's rough.
It wasn't taken care of by previous owners, is what it boils down to. And it sucked too, because we actually had a pretty mild December, so it would have been a good December to be out there working out. Yeah. By January, I got the clear to start working with just the empty barbell, which was a relief, but at the same time, it's really like I kind of felt like a beginner again, even after just a month and a half of not lifting. And then by the time I was able to add weight back to it at the end of February, it was just like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore, even though I've been using the barbell. But needing to step back like that just reminded me of how much I don't just rely on it because of the physicality of it, but how much like my brain, my soul, like my whole being uses movement to kind of keep me going forward. It's like it's healed a part of me from way back, and it's my help to keep moving forward as a more well-balanced, well-rounded person. Speaking
of balanced, to seeing contrast like that, because that's where you started. So even with all the challenges, you can look back at you, the picture on the left, and look back at you now, picture on the right, and there's some differences. You can see the progress, you know what I mean? So is that something that you're able to use whenever you do have to take a layoff and say, hey, look, I've made progress. I've had to do this all this time, and look, I'm still making progress. You're still, I think I saw you did like a triple with a weight that you failed at. Yeah, so you were actually I think it's the one where like you're in the gym and you've in a public gym, the one you used to go to when it was wintertime, and you failed the weight, but then you're in your home gym and you did a triple with it. So you're still making the progress. Does that kind of stuff make it easier to convince yourself, hey, look, we're doing okay. No, there's no need to panic?
A lot of the times, like with this, it was one of those, I happened to be cleaning up stuff in the bedroom and I came across that picture and I'm just like, holy cow. And at the same time too, it's a big transformation because like you can't see my face in that picture, but the lights are on, but no one's home in that picture. I was in a very dark place at that time. I was 19 when that picture was taken, and I was in an incredibly abusive relationship. So it was just like, that's not the only thing that's changed, the physical appearance. Because I like, if you could see my face in that second picture, it's definitely like the Christmas lights are flashing at everybody and there's Christmas carols. And so it's a huge change completely between the two pictures. But like, I just looked at that picture and I'm just like, you know, holy cow, like I see myself in the mirror every day and I no longer see the changes. So when you see one of those older pictures, you're able to visualize your progress. And like with the missed lifts, it's like I made those lifts that day. And then all of a sudden I'm just like, the last time I tried this, I couldn't even get one up. And, you know, so obviously I'm still progressing that way too, because that's the thing about weightlifting, coming to weightlifting from powerlifting. Because just a couple of days before I found out I was pregnant, I broke my deadlift PR, and I deadlifted 350 pounds at 112 pound body weight. So nice. That was like a huge thing. And then here I am, I think my max clean and jerk at the moment is only 117 pounds.
Right.
So it's very humbling to be out there and liftings. I mean, my squat still, because you have to squat a lot for weightlifting. So my squat's still moving up there, but it's kind of like, and I think that's the biggest thing that I need to reconcile as a weightlifter, that I'm still making progress, just a different kind of progress. And so it's easy to kind of get caught up in that cycle of, oh, I suck because I'm lifting less. But then I see those pictures and I see how my body's still moving forward and how my lifts are still moving forward in this new sport that I'm in. And it's like, okay, no, I am on the right path. I'm not screwing up. I'm not a failure.
Right. So there's so much in there. All right. The first thing is that I think that, so squatting is something that you improve the more you do it, right?
Yep.
But the cool thing about squatting is you don't have to have weight to work on your squat technique, right?
Yep.
And so I think that, and so that's why weightlifters tend to be very, very efficient at squatting. So it's kind of like the less your body's fighting itself to perform the squat, the more weight you can handle because your body is not fighting itself and fighting the weight at the same time.
Yep.
All right. So having said that, the other thing about weightlifting is that you can get better at it with a broomstick.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of it, strangely enough, it's kind of like equipped lifting, where like if you miss your groove, you'll never get the weight. You're just not going to be able to get it because you missed your groove and you're not able to do it right. And in weightlifting, a lot of times you're missing the weight, not because missing the lift, not because you can't handle the weight, but because you missed your groove. So when you do have to do a deload and you're not able to whatever, do you just say, okay, well, are you still able to move a little bit? I know you're with Move Mountains training. How do they handle your deloads? Do they say, okay, we want you to continue moving, except now you're doing your snatches and you're clean and jerk with a broomstick or a PVC pipe, but you're still working technique, even though your body doesn't need to be touching heavy weight. Are you able to do that? Or is it more like, look, forget that. You're going to have some sort of flare up at some point. We're just going to keep going. And when the flare up comes, that's the deload.
Basically, that is how it's set up. My intake with Hunter, it was very detailed. My explanation of how the different chronic illnesses impact my body, what happens when I'm in a PCOS flare up, and because that also impacts my like joints and just how my body feels overall. And then the spondylosis flares, and I check in with them pretty much every day. Her and Sarah Guzman helps her at Move Mountains. They've been really great. This month's been a little tricky because I've had to come off of a medication that I've been on for a really long time. So my body's trying to adjust to that. So what they've done is we focus more on RPEs instead of the weight because of the way my body is. So some days that RPE 7 may only be that 55 pounds instead of an actual 80% of what my top snatch is.
Right.
And that has been immensely helpful in keeping me moving. Especially last week's a really rough week for me. I did not feel good at all. I was having an awful PCOS flare because my hormones were just out of control. Yeah. So I really had to dial back the amount of weight that was going on the bar. So that was definitely a deload week, by all rights. I mean, my snatches were only 54 pounds, and the week before my snatches were 80 to 84 pounds. So, I mean, it's a big gap. So I look at last week as my deload week. And then this week, we're kind of starting to ramp things back up again. I check with them every Sunday. They make adjustments Monday morning as needed for that week. And it's been a really great weightlifting experience. I feel like I'm making so much progress just in the 2 months that I've been with Move Mountains. So.
Nice. I mentioned the weight that you did for the triple, so I'll go ahead and I'll let everybody check it out. If you were listening on Podbean, you need to go over to YouTube, and you'll be able to see this video of Holly's progress. Or you can just follow, go to @EatLiftRunYoga on Instagram, and just scroll through her feed, and you'll be able to see it. So right there we see. All right, so right there. Okay, cool. So that's you doing it and failing. And now this is you with the same weight, but you hit it for a triple because you improved your starting position. And that's before you started working with your coach. Yeah. So one thing I noticed too is also you're a lot more confident when you are going into the lift in the images in the video in your garage than you were in the public gym. Because, you were kind of like, I hope I get it. Whereas in your garage, it was like, all right, let's get this. And then we got stuff to do. Let's go, let's get it. You know what I mean? Like you just expected to get it. And that is such a big, the main lift for me that's like that is squatting. Because, you get under the bar, especially if it's heavy. You get under the bar and it's like, whoa, this is heavy. You step out, you're like, is this? And now you start the conversation for me starts where it's like, are you sure it's heavy now when you're standing up? Are you sure you want to go down there? Are you sure? And it's like, and so you remember like I made a shirt where it was kind of like it's like do not break or whatever. It was like I made a shirt. It's like you could only read it in the mirror and the reason I made it, I ended up not really like selling it, but it was I made it because my squat rack is in front of the mirror, so I can only read it when I'm in the mirror squatting, and it's telling me the whole time, don't break. Because one of the things that I say to myself, I've got like a list of little phrases. One of the things that I say to myself when I actually get under the bar, like the bar's on my shoulders and I'm standing up, before I go down, I get air and I say, if you guys like can see it, if you like were to zoom in, you'd see me say it. I say courage, right? Because hey, look, you can do this. You did something similar last week or whatever. Courage, right? Yeah. And then another one is when I have my hands out before I pull myself under the bar to set up for the squat, I say attack, right? And do you have any things that you like that you say that kind of like are little mantras you repeat to yourself before you go?
I started doing when I started getting back to being able to add weight to the bar this year, because my ultimate goal is to get back to the platform to at least do a couple more meets before I hang
You
up
signed
my
up for a meet now,
competition
aren't
hat.
you? Aren't you signed up for a meet now?
I was going to, but there's been a lot of changes at my day job, and it just does not give me the hours I need to be able to commit to meet prep. There's
Gotcha. Okay.
there's one in the spring that happens every year, and that's my target. So
Gotcha.
I'm a good couple months out.
Gotcha. Okay.
But because that's like, and if anybody watched weightlifting during the Olympics, every time they would come onto the platform and they'd be getting their belts ready to walk up to that bar, you could see their lips moving because they're going through their whole spiel. I mean, mine isn't anything spectacular, but I started saying for every set, just to trick my brain, last set, best set.
I like that one.
I noticed I stopped missing because I really tend to miss because my second pull is horrible.
Okay.
And that's what I'm really focusing on with Move Mountains. Like the first pull's fine, but that second pull really sometimes gets a little wonky. But I noticed my second pull, like when my brain's thinking that this is my last set, I've got to make it, that I feel more like I'm gonna make it and everything moves not perfect. I'm definitely never gonna be the greatest weightlifter for my age anywhere. And I'm okay with that because I'm not really that competitive with other people. I'm more competitive with myself. But
Right.
last set, best set has been a massive
I like that one.
game change. Even if it's my first set, I'm getting set up at the bar and I'm like last set, best set. And it's funny
Yeah.
because Sarah and Hunter have even noticed it, and they'll say the same thing. They're like, why do you say that? And it's like, it gets me in that frame that, yeah, this is it. I'm getting this. There's no
Don't worry about
missed
why I'm saying
opportunities
it.
here.
I don't care if I say Mitzelplick. All right. If it helps, hey, we're gonna say Mitzelplick together.
I sing half the time when I'm working out. So
I've seen it. Actually, I was responsible for it because I had you that KRS-One song, like Get Yourself Up. I was like, oh, I like that one. I saw you dancing to it. I like that. You posted on Instagram. I really, and I like it. Let me just read the direct quote. Our biggest fault as humans is we only see one way or no way. It wasn't that long ago I read a book by a famous former bodybuilder in which he said there's only a plan A. But that's unrealistic for more people than it is realistic, and it sets us up for failure. You may have to venture off path and work on B, C, or even T, U, or V before something clicks and you can circle back to A. So when I track your progress as a lifter from the year of gym lifting to, 13 years of powerlifting, then the CrossFit style training with street parking, and now where you are with weightlifting, it kind of makes sense that you found your way to the competitive platform in the way that you found your way to the competitive platform. It wasn't like a direct route. Definitely wasn't a way that you planned on it when you started your lifting journey. What do you think of, though, when you revisit this quote?
I mean, it's been the story of my life. I take the cards that I'm dealt and I run with them, because I feel like if I stress out too much about the fact that it's going to take me off path, then I'm not going to be a happy person. I'm not going to feel like in those last moments of mine on earth that I'm going to be able to look back and be okay with what happened. I'm going to see all those missed opportunities. So sometimes when you get derailed, you're given the best opportunities. I met some amazing people through the street parking community that I still connect with regularly on Instagram. I've met a couple of them in person. So, I mean, like, and then with weightlifting, it's been an amazing community. At one point, I was connected with the bodybuilding community in between all of that. And then at the same time, too, it's given me opportunities in my personal life, like being able to finally write a book. So I feel like being hard-lined into one way or no way, it kind of pigeonholes us into not being happy with the cards we've been dealt, because we're not always going to get the hand we want unless we're going to cheat. And it's kind of hard to cheat life. So I mean, it's going to be that one thing that I say over and over again, because for all I know, tomorrow I could be derailed from getting to the weightlifting platform, and I might even have to switch strength sports, might have to pause it again. I don't know. And so it's really, it's kind of my life motto, along with the adapt or die kind of thing.
That's it. Well, couple more questions. Something that I didn't actually think about until we were talking, but for a lot of people, rotation, especially if you're a lifter in a strength sport, you're in desperate need of rotation because we spend so much time on anti-rotation stuff, you know, tight core, stay tight, especially powerlifting. Like I always pick on powerlifting because that's a sport that's probably closest to my heart because that's the one I compete in, and you know, but we're like tighter than Dick's hat band. You got a lot of they look strong, but they're actually kind of brittle. It's right there on the edge, man. But for you, with how your vertebrae are, do you need to stay away from rotational movements, or does it help you to rotate?
It does help to rotate because a lot of the times as I'm like doing something that involves a rotating movement, I get those good snaps and pops and everything feels a lot better. Like
it's like windmills and things like that are good, feel good to you, things like that? Okay.
Yep. And then another one that's not like one that it's weird that a lot of people don't associate it as a rotational movement because you're rotating parts of your body. Thread the needle. Yeah. When you lay and you tuck your arm under.
I know what it is. It's nice and uncomfortable. I actually have to do it when I go downstairs to squat after I kill the moths.
Yeah, I usually at the end it's down dogs and then a couple of thread the needles and some other rotational yoga stuff. And that's been incredibly helpful too. Finding my way to yoga all those years ago. But it just kind of almost settles things back into place. So recovery is a lot better, and I don't feel like that tension like the next day. And
okay, you said the phrase "not dead yet," and coincidentally, and I applaud you. I was like, that's skill right there, because you have an affiliate code with the brand "Not Dead Yet." I said, well, look at you, she's done this before. All right, so go ahead, talk about "Not Dead Yet," because I like. Actually, I'll just pull this up here. Not Dead Yet is like what their apparel brand or their lifestyle brand, whether it's all right, let me see if I can pull them up here because I know you've got a promo code. So when I went there, I saw their thing where it says it's a lifestyle. So whatever it is you want, now's the time to get it. You're not dead yet. So they got a bunch of different products and whatnot there. Talk about your affiliation with them. You got an affiliate code. Or affiliate link. So if you want to share it, you can share it. So if anybody wants to go check it out or whatever, we can do that as well. And then we're going to close with talking about your book a little bit.
Well, Not Dead Yet used to be, I don't know if anyone watching or listening is familiar with Hate Brand Goods, Matt Vincent.
Oh, yeah.
Games champion. Yep.
He was actually at Home Gym Con the first year we had it. Yeah.
It's his brand. He rebranded. I have been wearing their stuff and following their page for oh God, I think almost 10 years now. A lot of my gear is Hate Brand, Not Dead Yet. My shorts, shirt,
and Garage Gym Life. You got some stuff from me. Shout out to you.
Yep. I get quite a few strange looks that the normal people die when I wear that out. But
hey, it's the truth. I'll argue that with anybody.
Yep. But I listened to, it used to be the So podcast and everything. And just like the lifestyle that, Matt talks about and encourages, it really resonated with me right from the start. So it was a company that when they opened up, affiliate codes, I did not hesitate. I put my name in the hat to see if they'd pick me. And so it was really cool that I was picked. And anytime anyone wants to help me out, I get a little bit of a kickback when you
do you have to use a promo code or can you just click the link?
The link right on my profile will take you there. There's two links there because I think one link takes you to buy my book.
Oh, there's
then,
mermaid lifts. I see it. It's a use mermaid lifts for 10% off. I'm putting it in the chat right now. Well, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And a lot of people like pish posh these little small companies, like saying that they don't wear well. I have my hibiscus lifting spandies from way back, and they've been washed God knows how many times because they are my favorite pair. I tend to grab them first if they're clean. And they're still, the color's still there. The seams aren't ripping. And I've had Under Armour shorts not even last me a year. So, I mean, the quality is also very good. So it's not just what the brand stands for, but you're getting a lot of bang for your buck in the products that you buy. And the Habit coffee is really good too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it like a Keurig style, or is it like you grind it up yourself?
You grind it up yourself.
Okay, that's cool because we had a coffee brand that we used to use, and then they ended up going out of business. So we don't really have. My wife loves coffee. My wife is a Latina, so she's been drinking coffee since she's probably like 5. I'm not even making that up. They start drinking coffee. She said her mom and her abuelita would bring her coffee on a saucer. Yeah. Like, so then you sip it on a saucer. And I know some Cuban people too, and so they do a lot. I know Latinos from around the spectrum of it. And they're all into coffee. I'm like, you guys are really, really into your coffee. So we're looking for like another coffee brand. So we might go ahead and check it out. And I'm going to use promo code Mermaid Lifts when I buy coffee because I want to save 10% and support Holly. J619 driver said that quote is epic. So I'm saying all that day today, not dead yet. And for those of you who don't know what she's talking about, so I made a shirt, I guess it's a tank top too, where it says normal people die easier. And the genesis of it was I was watching something on TV, and they were talking about it's like one of those survival shows, right? And this person obviously survived, and they said, you know, a normal person wouldn't have made it through that. And I was getting ready to go lift, and I was like, you know, what I'm doing right now, especially I'm 51 years old. So at my age, it's not normal to be doing this. And so I put the two things together, and I'm like, oh, wait, well, that's probably why normal people don't survive whenever there's some sort of traumatic event, because they don't prepare themselves. It's not normal to prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically for stuff to go wrong. But as a result, when something goes bad, the normal people die easier. And the abnormal people are the ones who thrive. They conquer, they succeed, they overcome. They're the ones that get to tell the story because they're the ones that made it out. So if you want to increase your life expectancy, stop being normal right now. That's it. You wrote a book. I know how tough that is. And it is on Amazon. Am I right?
Yeah, it's everywhere books are sold.
Look at you. All right. Everywhere books are. See, you can tell. I told you she's a professional. She knows how to do this. She got the phrases. Everywhere books are. Pick it up. Everywhere books are sold. So what's the name of the book and what's the link to buy it?
The name of the book is Daughters of Legion, you know, typical fantasy book, some made up words in there.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Hey, remember what Thor said? All words are made up.
Pretty much.
There you go. All right.
But it's a 3-part series. The second book is coming out in the spring. I am actually getting it ready to send it off to the editor. So the press print deadline can be made for spring.
Okay.
And then probably the following year, the third book will come out. It all depends.
You said I'm sorry I cut you off, but you said, I think on Threads, that you had met someone who had your book. And like, it was like, how cool is that when you meet somebody who's bought your book and you're like, oh, wow, sales are real. Like this is, and you're not related to me.
Well, that's the thing, like seeing people that I don't know out in the wild with my book. Because one of the bookstores here, there's 9 locations, they picked it up and they're selling it.
Oh, nice.
And so even being out of town, like I was a couple weeks ago, and seeing someone take my book off the shelf and go to the register with it, I just kind of like stood there and had like this very like strange out of body experience. Like that, you know, I've been scared to do this my whole life. I've been writing my whole life. My grandfather, my dad's side was a poet published, always telling stories. So that's obviously where I get it from. But to be so scared to do it that it was one of those, I'm not getting any younger. Today's the day. I'm not dead yet. What am I waiting for?
Right.
So it came really quick to me last year, and when I was writing it last year, I did
Pull
not
the trigger.
expect it to be what it's become. They say that 95% of independent authors will only ever sell 100 copies of their book in a lifetime.
Wow.
And my book was released on my paternal grandfather's birthday. He would have been 101 in April of this year. And my last tally was 137 books.
Sweet.
So I'm not even a year in. So that's a totally
that's awesome
for me too. I mean, granted, the royalties aren't rolling in because authors, unless you're one of those super famous James Grapondo, Harlan Coben.
Yeah.
Also getting Netflix shows and stuff. You're just one of the low guys on the totem pole. But
let me ask, how you got it on Amazon? Do you have it in the Kindle Unlimited program?
Nope. In order to be in the Kindle Unlimited program, Amazon wanted the absolute rights to it. And I'm a big library. Yeah, I'm a big library person, and I wanted libraries to be able to offer it digitally too, because a lot of people do read digitally.
Yeah, that's how my wife likes to read stuff. I'm like the Kindle Unlimited guy, and my wife is like, let's just go to get it from the library.
Yeah, I wish I could have done traditionally published authors can be on Kindle Unlimited and sell other places too. But unfortunately for us independent authors, it's all or nothing. And I know a lot of people in other countries who read on Kobo.
Right.
And I didn't want to limit myself. And I'm really happy that I went with that option because almost 40 libraries have purchased my book through the Libby app Overdrive. So that was definitely a good choice there. It just proves that there are libraries out there that prefer to get them digitally. So that's why I say it's available everywhere books are sold, because if you have iBook, you can get it there. You can get it through Smashwords, you can get it through Kobo, Kindle. And in October, I'm a part of an indie writer thing, so the book will be discounted for the middle of October.
Okay, there's a couple of things. So I've gone through I self-published one book and then a novella that was a follow-up to it. And so I had to go through that whole process, and I still get like people calling me. It's always at the most inconvenient times. Hey, we just want to know. And they're offering you like some frankly insulting amount of money for your book. I'm like, nah, man, I'm good. I'll just, if I need to do something to it, I'll do it myself. It's like some of these little small presses that really want to just kind of take advantage of you as an indie author. So at the same time, though, I will say shout out to local bookstores, because people think, they're hanging on, hanging in there barely. And I think it's cool when an author allows a local bookstore to live a little bit, because you say, hey, I'm going to have my book in your local bookstore so that people know they can come in here and get this thing that they can't get, potentially somewhere else. So I think that's really cool. So everybody go check out Eat, Lift, Run Yoga on Instagram, but do you have a website that you want people to go to?
If you want to stay updated on book stuff, it is hssullivan.com.
Okay.
And that will give you writing updates, where you can buy my book digitally or physical. So that's like the kind of encompassing for that. In terms of all the other stuff, I used to blog about it, but now it's just all on Instagram.
Hey, nothing wrong with it. And Threads. Go to Threads and follow at Eat, Lift, Run Yoga on Threads as well. I promise you, I get half of the information that I have about you from just seeing your posts on Threads, because that's kind of like, and that's why I tell people to follow me follow Garage Gym Life on Threads, because you're going to get more of my stream of consciousness, my behind the scenes. Oh, this is what's going on right now in the moment. I'm trying to get this person booked for this or that. So if you really want to go behind the scenes and find out like day to day, moment to moment, what we're feeling or whatever, Threads is the place to go. Holly, thank you so much for your support of my brand. Everything that you've ever bought from our brand, fuels my fire. I'd like to tell people thank you when I can. And I'm telling you, everything you've ever bought from me fuels the fire. And what I mean by that is there are days when, you know, because you're a creative person, there are days when that fuel is kind of flickering. The wick doesn't have a lot in it, right? And then you'll see somebody who do something that lets you know that they value what you've made or what you've produced, and it adds oil to the lamp, keeps the fire lit just one more day. So thank you so much for keeping my fire to keep going lit one more day on multiple days. Thank you so much. I wish you nothing but success with everything. And let me know when your meet comes up, when your meet actually happens, because I want to make as big a deal as possible about it, because you know, I love to see people succeed. All right. Thank you for spending time with us, and tell your son thank you for making a guest appearance in the back on the video. All right.
Yep. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Take it easy.
You too.
All right. So that was the homie Holly Sullivan. You guys can check her out. Eat, Lift, Run Yoga on Instagram. And make sure that you follow her. Make sure that you also check her out on Threads at Eat, Lift, Run Yoga. And then you want to go check out her website if you want to find out about her book, which is hssullivan.com. And you guys can, you'll be more than happy. And of course, go to notdeadyet.com, and you want to use the promo code MERMAIDLIFTS to save 10%. And, you know, we got to support our own. You know what I'm saying? We got to support our own. Because who's going to support our community if we don't support our community? So if you're not supporting our community, you need to get your life together and start doing it. All right. We're going to be bringing on my guy, G Diesel, in just a second to talk to him about all things GCode Nutrition. But before we do that, you know what we got to do? We got to say, shout out to the Mountain Time Zone. Good morning. Thank you all for joining us. I saw my guy, Man Who Parks in Gym, somewhere around here, right here. Bam, he jumped in, snuck into the live chat, saying that that's why he goes to work every day, because, you know, you got to do hard things. You know, normal people die easier. You got to do the abnormal things. Struggle against the inertia that pulls you to want to be average and to be normal. Normal will kill you. Normal will kill you faster than anything else. See if I missed anything here. 619 Driver J said that's David Goggins saying to callous your mind. Do something that sucks every day, so when something bad happens, you are prepared mentally. All right. If this is your first time, if you're on the Mountain Time Zone and this is your first time checking out the show, welcome. Thank you for giving us a chance. Please make sure that you like and subscribe before you leave, because not only does it help the show, but it also educates the YouTube algorithm to let it know that this is more of what you want to see on YouTube. And of course, yes, it does help me as well, because it boosts my engagement. And so basically you're helping me and you're helping yourself at the same time. The other thing that I need you to do, if you want to support the show in a concrete way, is grab a banner, and here's how you can do it. Hey, if you're a home gym owner, you should know that nothing puts the finishing touch on your home gym like one of our high-quality laminated vinyl banners. These banners can be found in home gyms around the world, where home gym owners are pushing themselves daily to achieve their fitness goals. All you have to do to add one of these premium banners to your home gym space is visit our friends at freedomfitnessequipment.com to place your order. And Ashton and the crew at Freedom Fitness will get your banner shipped securely to you anywhere in the United States. Unlike flimsy gym flags that fade over time and get tattered if they're exposed to the elements, our banners are made of heavy-duty vinyl and laminated to protect the colors from sun damage, so they'll look good for years to come. In fact, once you receive your banner and hang it up, you never have to take it down unless you want to clean it, which is easy to do with soap and water. Then you can just hang it back up to proudly display your membership in the worldwide Garage Gym Life family. So visit freedomfitnessequipment.com to get your banner today. And don't forget to post a pic and tag at Garage Gym Life on Instagram when you hang up your banner, so we can shout you out and say thank you for your support. All right, so that's all you got to do. And now, without further ado, the man himself, the legend. All right, you never know. He's here, he's there, he's everywhere. Like what's my man like Roy Kent from Ted Lasso. He's here, he's there, he's every effing where. G Diesel. All right, let's go ahead and let's welcome him to the show.
What's going on, my brother? How are you?
Look at that.
There he is.
Don't you feel like Ric Flair when this plays?
What's up, my man? How are you? Good morning.
Man, I'm good, man. So, little side note, a little bit of a tangent, but that's why you're here. Is I was talking about you yesterday to my guy Dennis Solis, and I need to get you guys connected because he's got a documentary project that he's working on. I said the dude that you need to talk to,
Very cool,
is probably the busiest guy I know, but he's also the one that can tell you, like, I don't even know when you had time to trim the size of your beard. Okay, I don't know when that happened. The last time I saw you had a full beard. I don't know when you have time to do anything.
you're a busy man as well. You get up quite early, my friend, to make the donuts every day. So I respect that tremendously.
Hey, there's so much working against you. You got to get up ahead of it to make sure that by the time trouble comes your way, make sure it's having to catch up to you.
Amen.
But look, I was telling him, he asked me how I met you because I was talking about how we did the Y project and you were the only brand that I reached out to, and you said yes, and you helped us, in terms of supporting it. But I said, I didn't like reach out to you on day one. Hey man, hi, I'm John. Give me money. It was more like I had known you by like 5 years at that time. And he's like, well, how did you even meet him? And so that took me down the rabbit hole, I said, of Animal and all the other stuff, right?
Of course.
And then it popped up again because I said, yeah, man. I said, in fact, if you go watch the Cage video, you see Greg before the facial hair. And he's there talking about, the Cage and all these other things and what fame really is. We're not Michael Jackson. We're guys who lift weights. And it was funny because, and what made me think about it is what you said when you came in. You said, what's good, my brother? How are you? And I said, that's the same thing you said to me when I first met you. We were at the ABC and you were handing me my shirt. Yeah. And I walk up, you say, hey, what's good, my brother? How are you? Yeah. What size shirt you need? I was like, that's Greg's catchphrase,
Hey, consistency, right? Consistency is a tremendous, underrated virtue. So it's right. Not if I'm good at nothing else, at least let me be consistent.
You certainly are that, my man. So I'm gonna say 619 driver Jay. He is here. I told him, and if you will do it, you can go ahead and just put it in the live chat, Jay. But Jay grabbed, he was asking me about supplements, right? And he asked me for a creatine product recommendation. And I put him on Juiced. I said, do Juiced. Because although Vice has creatine in it, I wasn't sure what he need. Like, to me, like Vice is something I need periodically, not periodically, sure, but depending on the situation. Sure. Whereas in my mind, Juiced, which is your intro workout, is something you could take every day, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes I don't need to take Vice because I'm afraid it's going to interfere with a pump, right? Because of the caffeine in it.
Right.
So we're going completely out of order, but that's all right. So for anybody else who's not familiar with it, I know, shout out to Carp who brought up the tri-chamber in the live chat. But let everybody know what Juiced is, what it's good for, and if you have a better recommendation for Jay than that, because as far as creatine supplementation with GCode, go ahead and throw that out there. You get the big screen.
All right, no, I very much appreciate the shout out, my brother. And you always going to bat for our brand, being a missionary for us. It's priceless. But so for example, when you talk about Vice, Vice is our original pre-workout, and Vice does contain some creatine. But like you were kind of saying, Vice and a pre-workout in general probably isn't something that in an ideal scenario you needed to use every single day, right? Now I'd be lying if I didn't say that I didn't use Vice or some version of Vice on a very regular basis. Pre-workout is just sort of part of my training ritual, and I train 6 days a week. But yes, I absolutely agree that Juice, which is our intra/post-workout product, which is it contains advanced carbs, essential aminos, and creatine as its key components, some electrolytes, some antioxidants beyond that. It's a real sort of powerful recovery tool, and a more substantial source of creatine. That said, if we were talking about, and this is me just, talking big picture, if we were, I think Juice is the best recovery product that we have by far. We also have Rise, which is our amino recovery elixir, but doesn't contain any creatine nor any carbohydrates in it. So in terms of like a complete recovery product, Juice would be that for us. But if you were just looking for creatine supplementation, beyond Juice, like any sort of creatine monohydrate that you're getting from a reputable brand, which you can find on many websites or even in stores on shelves. And if you were just looking to add a bulk unflavored creatine at 3 to 5 grams a day to your routine, whether that meant like pre-workout, post-workout, or whatever, it would only be to your benefit. But yeah, in terms of a good source of creatine, in terms of the GCode line, Juice would be the way to go.
So here's a follow-up question, and then I'm going to ask you something else about just creatine in general. So Jay says it says intra and post-workout recovery. So if I take it once a day, should I take it before work or before bed? What do you think?
Well, when does he work out? It says intra and post recovery. So like my question would be, well, when do you typically train?
Well, how close does it have to be, I guess, would be a better question. How close does it have to be to the workout window? Because technically I worked out yesterday and I haven't worked out today yet. So this is technically post workout for me.
Sure. No, of course it is. As I see it, in that scenario, I would just get it in at some point after you train. But it's a versatile product in that way, where if for some reason you say didn't take a pre-workout and you'd like to sip on it before you train, or then sip on it while you train as an intra, or add it to your post-workout regimen, you can't go wrong like any of those ways. So I'll co-sign any use in that regard. But as long as you're taking it on a regular basis, it's going to improve and enhance your recovery. And if you gave me the choice of morning before work or before bed, obviously depending on when you train, whether you're a morning guy or somebody who trains at night, I would just try to take it as close as I could to the workout. So if you train in the morning, then I would take it in the morning before work. If you train at night, then I would take it after I train before bed.
Okay.
Yep.
So my follow-up question, and for those who are regular devotees of this show, you all are about to know what I'm talking about, and that's freaking Fernando, right? We're against Fernando. This is an anti-Fernando zone, all right? And who Fernando is I went to Vitamin Shop, and I don't actually know what this dude's name is, so I just decided he looked like a Fernando. Okay. So I walk in there, and so what happened is I run out of ice, right? And I didn't want to order more because my regular, for those who don't know, I contacted Greg. I said, hey, look, I don't care. Every 1st and 15th, put some Vice in a box and send it to my house, right? So that's the rotation I'm on. But I ran out of Vice at, there you go. Forget you, Fernando. Exactly. So I ran out of Vice and I needed the deadlift. And so I had already gotten the notification that my Vice was supposed to show up Saturday. Well, it's Friday and I need the deadlift today. So if I order it today, it still ain't going to get here before my regular. Right. So I was like, all right, let me just go grab some pre-workout. So I go to Vitamin Shop. I walk in and this guy comes up and he's like, he says to me, hey, can I help you find something, right? Well, I'm standing in the pre-workout section. So I'm probably looking for something in that family, right?
Right.
And I said, yeah, I said, I'm looking for some 1MR because I went back in time. I said, let me find something that I took back in the day that I know works, right? So I said, give me some 1MR. That's when I found out that they stopped carrying 1MR at Vitamin Shop. He said, but he says to me, Fernando says to me, I've never heard of it. And then walks away. He didn't recommend another. Thank you. He didn't recommend another product. So you get me fired up again, Greg. He didn't recommend another product. He didn't say, well, we have this other thing.
Right, which is comparable or even if he was unfamiliar, right? He could have said to you, okay, well, what did you like about that product? What was in that product? And then well, odds are they have something similar, right? Yeah, that's this. I mean, that's disappointing.
Sweat it. Oh my God.
But you see that in retail. You see that in retail, man. Not to cut you off, man, but you see that in retail, right? Because like where I always say about our brand specifically, like we tend to do well in places where the staff, the owner, take interest and like spend time educating consumers. That's where our brand tends to do well. If it's
Thank you.
if it's just a Fernando situation where you're expecting somebody to walk in already knowing what they want, or like already like having a preference, or even like people who are into whatever is specifically hot at the moment.
Yeah.
And then there's
So
like
with gold on it, named after grenades.
yeah, right.
Whatever. I'm like,
Yes.
what is that? I don't even know if I should put that inside myself. I don't know
Yeah,
about
no,
laws.
I know.
I don't know about that.
I guess that means it's hardcore. I don't know if it's
Whatever.
got.
I'm not drinking that. What is
Yeah.
that? It's like, yeah, and as a result, man, I mean, so the reason why Carlos put in the comments, he said the rage is building, because that you're familiar with Recliner of Rage, and that encounter with the person who I decided to name Fernando was the actual topic of a Recliner of Rage, because I ended up just grabbing something and I go home and I just mix it up. I drink the stuff and I said, man, it tasted like warm snot, right? It tasted like, and I was like, this is just horrible. So I drank one and I said, well, I'm still lifting. This is my punishment for not planning better.
Hey man, we've all been there, man. We've all been there,
God, I ended up throwing it. I said I got two choices with this garbage.
Right.
I either can throw it away, or keep it. So if anyone ever breaks in my house, I can force them to drink some before I call the police. You know what I mean? It was horrible.
It's a rainy day stash in case you're ever in that situation again.
No, I'd rather hit myself in the toe with a hammer. This is how I feel about it.
It's the Recliner of Rage. It's the Recliner of Rage, 'cause he's not happy.
And lest I forget you, Fernando, because I just named him Fernando. And so now on this show, I even like what you said. It's a Fernando situation. I'm taking, see that, you're a wordsmith. I'm taking that. It's a Fernando situation. Yeah. Someone who just doesn't care.
Yeah, sure.
That's what got me. It's like, because what if I'm somebody who doesn't have a brand that I typically use?
Sure.
I'm just somebody who just wandered in. It's my first time ever messing with anything. And maybe they weren't there for pre-workout. They're just for whatever supplement, right?
Sure.
And you just say, oh, well, the heck with it. Instead, that's the kind of person who's going to recommend to you whatever they get the best commission on.
Sure.
And I don't like that. So my question, let's reel it back in. Let me calm back down. If someone, you mentioned just normal bulk creatine monohydrate.
Yeah.
I know German creatine is going to be the one that you're probably going to want to go for, but where would you recommend in terms of places to go look for good creatine? Would you say, hey, the typical stores because you've been all over the country.
Sure.
So typical stores you go into, it's like the little mom and pops, but they don't have the marketing. So like, what would you say if you walk in, you're like, I probably shouldn't ask these people. What are some things you look for when you say, this is where I'm going to try to shop for an unfamiliar supplement?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, I that's what I always say. I always say, the places where the passion are, right? Like I often say about our brand, like if we were in every real gym and real supplement shop in the world, we wouldn't have to even try to get into a big box or, have those aspirations, right? If we were where real people train and where real people buy their supplements on a regular basis. So, I think any opportunity to support, the small businesses in your community, which still, exist in our industry, you find it, more and more challenging with Amazon, and, just with e-commerce in general, for a lot of brick and mortars to compete. And in our industry, they're still out there. And there's some very successful ones still. And, so I would go where the passion is, because odds are, if it's a gym that has a supplement store in it, or, it's a privately owned supplement shop that's in proximity to the gym that you go to, odds are they're there for a reason. Odds are they're there, because they have a passion for the game. And I'd much rather see somebody go there to get their stuff than order on Amazon, for example. And when I say that, I'm not saying that with any kind of anti-Amazon bias. I'm just talking about in general, in terms of small businesses supporting other small businesses. I'd always rather see somebody invest their money with their neighbor than with a massive corporation.
Okay, so you guys were on Amazon. You
We
are
were.
no longer on there, or you?
We're
or you
not.
Okay.
No, we're
Took
not.
it there.
Yeah, we're not. And you know, that's not. I don't say that with any sort of finite
Yeah, yeah.
punctuation on it. But you know, in the time that we were there, in the season that we were there, it's a tough nut to crack in terms of if you're a brand and you're selling your stuff on their marketplace, just because it really sort of eats up your margins trying to compete there, because you ultimately are paying for the prime service that consumers enjoy in terms of warehousing and pick fees and shipping. And then beyond that, also, in order to compete in that marketplace, it's sort of pay to play. So if you are going to show up in search when somebody puts in a product that you happen to be in that category, in order to come up, you either need to already be ultra established and have thousands of people flocking to their website every day to get your stuff, because lots of people already know you and it doesn't require any marketing. Otherwise, you're going to have to pay sort of ad revenue on a regular basis in order to show up in
To
search.
rank higher. I got
Yeah.
you.
So once you're playing that game, and then like I said, sort of like the
That'll eat up your profits quick.
and then the prime model is also built on the backs of the vendor actually selling the stuff. So you combine those two things, and it's tough to you combine those two things plus the lack of a human element, right? When you're sort of getting onboarded at Amazon, it's very easy to talk to people and track people down. But then once you're established there, you're sort of paying tithe to the algorithm, and you're at its mercy. And in those scenarios, for example, like, we had multiple issues with product descriptions, right? Where something in the language of a product description flagged the product of ours, and then no matter how we changed it, we couldn't convince the algorithm that it was good to go, right? And it's funny because it wasn't a test booster or a pre-workout. It was actually like our healthiest and most innocuous product, Life, our greens product. And within the language of the description, it spoke about like the something loosely, not quoting this exactly, but something about like the blood sugar regulation benefits of cinnamon. Right. And
that triggered the algorithm. Or
yes,
that triggered the whatever, the flag.
Yes. As if we were making some sort of like claim that it cures diabetes. And it's like,
that's wow.
It's such a stretch, man. And we're also talking about like literally an ancient spice.
Like cinnamon, man.
Right. It's not exactly cinnamon. We could have been selling cereal or cookies or something that have cinnamon on them, So that was, and so like you're dealing with challenges like that are, far less than ideal. And then your product's flagged and you're not getting any rotation in search. And it's an uphill fight.
All right. So full disclosure, we do have an affiliate link with GCode, and you're going to use promo code Best Gym in Town when you go to shop.gcodenutrition.com, and you'll save at checkout. I don't remember what the discount is because that's how much I don't push it enough, but I know there's a discount. All right. I think it's 10%. I think it's 10% at checkout. If I'm wrong, Greg, correct me.
It sounds right.
All right. So you save 10% at checkout if you use that, and then 5%, we get 5% profit. So it goes right back into the show. But I say that to say that's not why Greg is here, but I always like to be clear when I bring somebody on and I say, hey, this is a product that, I recommend, because I want you to understand that, yes, I do have a financial interest in you buying tons of it as long as you use that promo code. But that doesn't mean it's not true.
Of course.
He's like, yeah, so do I. I'm like, you got to get kids in college, man. So having said that, the reason you're here is because we were doing a show, had a new viewer come on. His name is Jason Washington, and he's 42, and he said he's nervous about taking TRT, right? He said apparently his friends are taking TRT,
sure.
but he didn't want to take it. He's like, I'd rather just build up naturally. So I find that funny, first of all, because I'm like, I'm like 9 years older than you are. You said 42, like that's old. And I'm like, you're a child.
Right.
All right,
It's all relative. It's all relative, man.
When I was 10, you couldn't play outside by yourself. But anyway, but that led to this series, if you will. So last week I had Nick Nilsson come on. Nick was talking about, maximizing your optimal hormonal profile through the kind of training you do and sleep and all that. But he also mentioned a few
important
supplements.
factors.
Right.
Okay.
But he also mentioned some supplements. And I said, well, I know a guy who's my supplement go-to when I have questions, and that's you. So now I said, let's dive into supplements. So first of all, let's talk about supplements that Nick mentioned. Okay. Do you have any experience with shilajit and turkey tail? Because those are the two that he said he likes. He didn't give the best commercial for shilajit because he said it tastes like bear scat.
Right.
Like, I don't feel like that's in the promotional material anywhere. But
right.
Nevertheless.
Sure. I don't doubt it, though. Yeah.
But what do you have experience with those things? And if not, what are some of your favorite supplements, both from the GCode line and then just in general?
Yeah. I do not personally have experience with either of those other than just reading. So I'm glad people like Nick are out there doing the due diligence and finding effective compounds out there that can support the cause naturally. I personally am also not on TRT. I'm 46. And I sort of see TRT as an awesome therapeutic modality. But once you definitely absolutely need it, like I have no problem with it whatsoever, but it should be the sort of trigger you pull as a last resort or as like an eventuality, not the place that you start from when you become aware that your own natural hormone production is in decline. So we have a product called King, and I mentioned King not because I'm plugging it, but just to talk about the ingredients in it, because the ingredients in King are ingredients that I've found over the years to be effective training as a drug-free athlete. Gotcha. and in sort of through the lens of I'll try anything if it's available and I'll see if it works, right? We'll run it up the flagpole and see what happens, right?
Yeah. And for reference, that's you from this past summer.
Right, yeah, that's from I try to keep that birthday milestone every year. As a like
he was heading to church in that picture.
Yes, absolutely, in my Sunday best. But I try to keep that birthday goal in mind, sort of like as a milestone each year, like to hold myself accountable. Like, all right, can I be in good shape? Can I continue to be consistent with my training, my eating, and make progress from this year to the next, and so on and so forth. Okay. But anyway, so when we're talking about those individual ingredients in King, one of the things that I found to be very true is that there are some sort of almost simple everyday, not even exotic supplement recommendations that I would make for anybody who's looking to boost their own natural testosterone. So like a good example is just to not be deficient in certain vitamins and minerals. That's a big one, right? So zinc, magnesium, and vitamin D3 are three examples of sort of like common everyday micronutrients that everyone, is most especially hard training athletes, tend to be deficient in. So I would say like my first recommendation for somebody who is worried about their own natural test production and potentially being in decline is to start to supplement on a regular basis with zinc, magnesium, and vitamin D3. And I think right from there, after consistent use of those two and addressing the deficiencies that you might have for a couple weeks, you will notice a difference. And those are very common elements, right? And then the rest of the King formula, that test 2K matrix is 2,000 milligrams of 4 ingredients, and they're ingredients that I've used personally, that I've found individually to be effective for me, right? And it's anecdotal, but they're not outside the realm of the mainstream in terms of supplementation. They're all very familiar to anybody who uses supplements and who's interested in herbs for that reason. So it's tribulus, fenugreek, long jack or tonkat ali, and ashwagandha. Those are the 4 that I've had the best experience with. And in the King formula, we provide them in a robust dose. And then so it's like right there, like those are, a few ingredients that I feel like the herbs themselves and then those micronutrients, if you're getting those in on a regular basis, I think you're going to, in short time, in short order, notice a difference in how you feel and how you perform. And then, another thing that's an interesting ingredient that I think that as we start to look for solutions sort of naturally and outside of the realm of like pharmaceuticals, a common everyday individual ingredient that you can get your hands on that's relatively inexpensive, but I think that a lot of us could benefit from both genders as we age, is DHEA, which is sort of like hormonal raw material for testosterone production and hormone production in general. So that is another sort of master hormone that begins to decline as we age. And I feel like if you take, charge of some of these micronutrient deficiencies, if you add in some of these herbs and then like adding in something like a DHEA as well, at 50 milligrams to 100 milligrams a day, I think could certainly benefit someone. And sort of the combination of those micronutrients, those herbs, and then something like DHEA in terms of like the internal environment, could potentially boost endogenous testosterone production. That's the ideal scenario, because if you're able to do that, then you don't need TRT. Because
Right.
one of the things is like when we're introducing exogenous hormones to our system, it will suppress our own production of those. It's potentially to some extent where we're completely dependent on that outside source. So like you don't want to go there until you have to.
Right.
So leave that as the last option and try, if you're so inclined, leave that as the last option and try whatever else is out there and available to you, and there's dietary things, you spoke about, you spoke about Nick talking about, things you can do in terms of your lifestyle and your eating. There's certainly food sources that I found to be beneficial if I'm getting them in on a regular basis in terms of at least my sense of helping testosterone production. Sleeping better obviously is a big deal. If we can sleep better, we'll optimize our own natural hormone production. So there's lifestyle factors, I think, at play, and not all of them are always totally within our control. We can't all necessarily get 8 hours of sleep every night. Often our diets aren't ideal, but whatever steps you can take to even make any minor improvements, I think it all adds up and is all worth doing.
So there's a couple of comments. I want to go with the first one. Because this is a question. So the vitamin D that is in King, you see the comment about the soybean oil.
I do.
What do you have anything to add to that?
I don't, other than to say that I understand what he's talking about, and I think you'll notice as a consumer that when you go to
because soybean is supposed to be like increases your estrogen.
Right. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing about soybean. I think that it's one of those things that if you were just consuming massive amounts of it over the course of a day on a regular basis, then you might have some issues. So like generally, like I will avoid it, but not to the extent that I would never eat anything with soy in it. You know what I mean? So like I think if it's a cornerstone of your daily diet, then you might have an issue. But if you every so often interact with soy, I don't think it's a huge deal in that way. That said, what I was going to say about the soybean oil in the vitamin D, what you'll notice is that the way vitamin D is typically sold in stores is in gel caps, similar to vitamin E, right? These fat soluble ingredients tend to come in those like sort of golden gel caps, and I think they often use soybean as
as
the liquid portion of it, right?
Right.
In the vitamin with the vitamin D that's sort of in suspension inside that capsule. The thing, and that's an interesting point. And if like you're focused on avoiding soy like in every possible way you can, then obviously that'll be an issue for you. The interesting thing about the D3 that's in King is that it's a spray dried dehydrated form of D3, so it's not in suspension. In King, it's mixed with the vitamins and minerals and herbs that are in the formula. So I would say, and I don't quote me on this because I haven't looked into it. It not being in suspension suggests to me that oil isn't included in with the vitamin D3 in that same way. So like that's as far as our product in general. Maybe that means that you look for a D3 that is in tablet form, which I've seen before, and not in the gel cap, and maybe that'll help you avoid the soybean.
All right, so Eric Carpenter, who's from just north of us in Nashville, says he found out about GCode from his cousin, who's a pro gamer. I did not know that GCode was popular in the gamer community because of the energy and focus, but that makes sense. Because you said that people take Vice to write a report.
Well,
Which
yeah.
is, by the way, how come I ran out? Because I was using Vice when I was writing reports.
Right. That's funny. What I wonder is, if he's confusing G-Code with G Fuel. I know
you're talking about.
Which is entirely possible. Which is a brand. They have some energy drinks, and I think they market to the gamer market.
It's got like the Sonic is on the cover, and you got
right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think they've been like focusing on that community for a really long time. I will say that
I've had it when I'm driving long distance.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've tried every brand over the years. That said, though, it's true what we just spoke about is that like we'll find some uses for our product out there where it's it's not just what you would think in terms of to just taking a pre-workout right before you train. Some people will utilize our stuff, just in circumstances where they might normally have an energy drink or have coffee, but instead they'll have Vice. So
I had like I said, I did mess around. I ran out because I was using it. We had a bunch of stuff going on at work. It was like storm season, and so I work at a public utility basically, and so whenever there's storms, we gotta get the power back on, and so you got long days, right? And so, or for me, in my case, it's long nights.
Yeah. And
so I had to do like these very detailed reports. I was awake, but you could be awake and not focused.
Sure.
And so I started taking my tub of Vice with me to work, and I'd mix some up before I did my report, and it's just like, okay. Well, then I ran out faster. Now it's time to deadlift, and that's how I ended up meeting Fernando. So. Right. But I digress. I don't want to go back to that road again. That makes me mad. Jared says he's definitely not 100% seed oil free, but he keeps it out of the house. He's 95%. And then he basically takes it in if he's out, eating at a restaurant or something like that, which I get.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I mentioned that the Shilajit. Nick, I've not had it. I'm going to order some, but Nick said it tastes like bear poop.
I feel
it tastes like nature.
I would say that a lot of these herbs, like sort of in raw form, if you were just taking like the powdered version of them, I'm sure many of them don't taste very good, which is why you're happy when there's capsules,
Yeah. So I'm nervous right now, and I'm like, man. But,
well, yeah. I mean, that there's people out there who are herbalists or take it to another level, right? Where they're literally like mixing up spoonfuls of this stuff. And some of it's not going to taste great, odds are, and you think about like ancient Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine and all that stuff, there's a lot of funky herbs, Yeah. So like,
my question though for you though, is you're a flavorologist. I coined that phrase, right? Flavorologist, right?
Yes.
So what do you do when something's going to be horrible? You're like, all right, I got to mix this with something. I know I got to take it. I'm having a flashback to my mom making me take cod liver oil when I was a kid.
Sure.
But she would give it to me with honey, right?
Right. Sure.
Which would made it, survivable. So what do you do when you're like, all right, this stuff is I know it's gonna suck. It's gonna taste horrible. How do you do it?
Well, it's one of those things, right? Like, especially when we're talking about product development, right? If it's a
specific, think about that.
If it's an ingredient that doesn't taste great, then best case scenario is you're going to put it in a capsule, right? Mm-hmm. If it's an ingredient that doesn't taste great, but you need it to be in your powdered formula, right? Then, in a lot of these instances, if I'm honest, you find yourself deferring to experts, right? So there's people who are quite literally, right, flavorologists, right? There's people who like, this is their area of expertise. So they know the ingredients that are problematic, and then they know how to address those problems in terms of, whether it's masking agents or just whether, something might mix better with some ingredients than others. And like, a good example, our product Life. Like I always say that, like, since we're on the topic, right, and we're talking about stuff to taste funky or
some
whatever.
Of that is right in here, yeah.
Mentioned cinnamon earlier as well, right? But there's a blend in Life, which is our organic green superfruits product, right? There's a blend in there that has what we call ancient spices, which I say are like the original supplements, right? So it's turmeric, ginger, cayenne, cinnamon, and green tea. Right. Okay. There's a blend of those ingredients, and by themselves in isolation, those things all taste awesome and are only flavor enhancers in many ways. Right. But mixed together, they've got a kick to them. Right. And what you realize with Life is that some, like in the product development stage, some flavors just work better with that stuff than others do, right? So like our first two flavors, one was a citrus flavor, which has some sour notes to it, and the other one was green, like a sour green apple, and both of those work well with that blend of spices. So a lot of the time you just kind of have to do your best to anticipate what's not going to taste great and address it the best you can, and when you run out of ideas, then you sort of defer to the real flavorologists who know what they're doing, know what to anticipate, and then like know how to address it.
But I'm talking about like in your, and I bring this up because you've got this thing that
okay, just in my own personal life.
Yeah, because you got a thing like you do like in the mornings where you like mix up. You say, okay, this is my recipe thing, and you do like the protein pancakes, and you got other. So I'm like, so what do you do? Do you have a chaser? Do you like say,
Yeah, I would probably just be a chaser. A lot of the times, like I'll tell like my daughters, who might be resistant to. Not even like this, the cliched scenario where they don't want to take their medicine, right? But complain about what their vitamins taste like, or like, I tell them, that they should be, taking like, for example, a Rise, which is our amino product, but it's also like good for endurance, like a sports drink would be. It's good for immune health, right? There are instances where like for their sporting stuff, I'm like, you should be taking Rise. And in general, they love it. But in any instances where there's pushback, I say, man, like, I lived through the era in supplements where nothing tasted good. And we choked all that stuff down. Like, and I feel like to some extent, and, it's a good thing because it speaks to the evolution of the industry. But like, modern consumers are spoiled, right? Because they expect their products to be, highly effective, but then also taste like Snapple, right? And it's like, whereas we choke down a lot of stuff in our day, my brother. Right? Whether it's
now they'll send you to the bathroom.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You just like, you just punishing anyway.
Yeah. But there was a period where protein shakes and weight gainers didn't taste very good, and energy stuff didn't taste very good, aminos didn't taste very good, but we were committed to. It's funny because you're committed to your goals and you're committed to this lifestyle, and I think like it was a certain badge of honor that you're like, all right, well, but I don't care what it tastes like, right?
Yeah, it's whatever. It sucks.
So right, so we're consumers from that generation who are still at it and still doing our best on our own terms every day in this modern era where everything tastes pretty good. So we hear people complain about what stuff tastes like, and are like, how dare you don't know how good you got it, Jeez. But anyway, so yeah, man, of course. So like, if I could encounter stuff that doesn't taste great, most of the time it's like I'll just chase it down with something, right? Throw it in my mouth, or make a. I'm a believer in like the shot glass approach when stuff doesn't taste great, right? So like instead of making, 30 ounces of something that doesn't taste good and then nursing it for an hour, like I'll just make a concentrated dose of it and bang it back in one shot and then it's done with. That's it.
Get it over with. I got you.
That's it, man. Get it over with. For sure.
So my brother, who's right here, and you I think you remember him.
Of course I do.
Yeah,
of course I do, man.
He's the first mixologist, right? He's
Awesome.
the one that got me into it. Like he's just mixing stuff together.
Yeah.
And so like I held this up. What I have in here right now is Vice with Life,
nice.
And then some cherry water flavor, right?
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
And it tastes like Dr. Pepper.
Awesome.
But I wasn't doing that before. Like I was doing the other way. I was just suffering. I just suffered through stuff, right?
Sure.
And he's like, nah, man. He's like, nah, I gotta mix stuff together and see how it tastes, right? Experiment. Right. So yeah, I'm definitely into that. Here's a question. So keeping in mind, you don't make turkey tail.
No.
But he's like, this is a valid question. It's like he said, is turkey tail the new deer antler spray? Because I remember deer antler spray.
Yeah, man.
How do you, especially when we're talking about people who are trying to optimize their hormonal profiles as we age, we're trying this stuff and that stuff. You see stuff on TV. How do you avoid stuff that is actually, let's just say scams?
Right.
Because I've got stuff in my head right now that I've seen some late night infomercials for. It sounds magical. All right. I'm like, man, I want to like rub my entire body in the junk. But I'm like, there's no way. So talking about that.
I mean, I'd say like, the first red flag is that it's on an infomercial, right? So like if that's the case, then you're being marketed to and in a lot of awesome to see you, Uncle Boo, my man. If you're being marketed to in that way where there's a big investment of TV production and late night commercials involved, then, buyer beware right there. Beyond that, in terms of being scammed, I would say that when you hear about like an individual ingredient, do the due diligence, read up on it. We have access to so much information now, often too much information, right? Where it can be overwhelming, but, read up on it. Try to read some reviews, try to read the information that's being provided, not only the marketing stuff, but, some of the more scientific stuff or, the roots and origins of some of these ingredients. And then, ultimately, like we're all our own guinea pigs to some extent, right? So, if it's something that you determine to be worthwhile and safe within the confines of what you're comfortable using, then, try it out and see how it works for you. And then, take notes. And if it's no good, then it goes on one list. And if it works for you, then it goes on another list. That's sort of always been the way that I've approached it.
Okay.
So, you should be, he said deer velvet antler spray. And the funny thing about it is that like, that's one of those that I never tried. And I didn't even ever try because like out of skepticism or cynicism or whatever, I just never got around to trying it. I remember Ray Lewis getting busted for like a drug screening and blaming deer velvet antler spray. And then, the company Bucked Up is essentially built on the backs of that allegation, and like they're one of the biggest brands in our industry. And it's originally on the strength of the fact that they were like the first to market with deer velvet antler spray. And that Ray Lewis, as soon as Ray Lewis said, I failed the drug test
because of deer velvet antler spray,
their sales went through the roof, and it's and the rest is history.
That's hilarious.
Yep.
So food is important too. So, let me just go to this other thing and then I'll come back around to food.
Yep.
Because you guys make a meal replacement and you also make whey protein, right? So you got Fuel and Feast and all that. We'll talk about that a little bit.
Sure.
But keeping it within the lens of trying to keep our hormones optimally operating as we get older, my firm belief, I said it before and I say it again, the second best time in your life to add muscle is when you retire. And the reason I say that is because the best time is when you're 18 years old, especially if you still live with your parents, because now you got a food source, your body is producing all the hormones you need naturally.
Sure.
You're not responsible in general. As a general rule, you're not responsible for taking care of any other humans. So you can train, eat, and sleep. And you don't even know how good you have it at that age, right?
Of course.
Then you move out, and now you got to figure out how to pay bills. You now have to dedicate a huge chunk of your life to whatever strenuous job you have or whatever, right?
Sure.
And then at some point, you got to be responsible for other people's lives. You got kids, whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
And your boss, if you're working, they don't care that it's leg day today. They still want you to go, hey, you still got to unload that truck, right?
Sure.
But then you retire. Now you don't have anywhere to be. So like I always say to myself, like if my dad started lifting, that dude could lift. He could eat, wake up when he feels like it, eat, lift, and sleep.
Yeah, sure.
And nobody's gonna bother him. He's got nowhere to be. I'm like, what are you doing with your life? You're wasting all of this time here.
What a blessing, right?
I go to him. I'm like, I'm just mad when I said, man, I'm just mad when I look at you.
Yeah.
There's no gym in your house. I don't understand your choices.
Right.
But for somebody like come to mind is Frank Ray, who lives in North Carolina. He's one of our supporters, and he's retired now. And Frank's a fairly muscular guy. He's actually friends with Ant DeAngelis, our mutual friend Ant DeAngelis. So what would you recommend to people if they've reached that promised land? So like they're like in their, let's say, late 60s.
Sure.
They're living that train, eat, sleep lifestyle again, right? What would you recommend?
I mean, what you're saying is so true, right? It's any scenario, right, where you're able to optimize your lifestyle for your goals, right? So it's like, and it's what we're basically talking about is like living like a professional athlete to some extent, right? Or living like living like an Olympic athlete, living like a college athlete, right? Where your primary emphasis is on performance and lining up your lifestyle so as to optimize your performance. And there are very rare instances in our lives where we have that luxury, right? And it's very true, right? As a teenager, maybe when you're college age, and then like you're saying, later on in life when you're able to retire, right? If you're so lucky and so blessed to be able to retire, and you do so, now you have more time, right? You have more time available to you that you can use as you see fit. And then also, let's hope the stress, because the thing that like is in between the lines of what you were saying earlier, right, is that you're able to control your stress, right? Yeah. There's stress is minimized also in your lifestyle, right? And that's such a huge part of, I feel like, making progress, physically and athletically, and in terms of recovery and conditioning. And continued improved performances in managing stress, right? So if you're able to sleep maximally and optimally and get as much sleep, I always say like, it's very rare that we get as much sleep as we need ideally, right? We got to often take whatever we can get and then do the best to make it the best quality we can, right? But if it's in a scenario where you can just sleep as much as you want, right? You can eat whatever you want when you want, and line those things up ideally if you're so inclined. You can, utilize supplements in an ideal fashion and train on a specific program. And like, those are the most important aspects of your lifestyle. Then you're in a good place in terms of making progress. So like, I think it's an awesome way to frame retirement, right? As sort of this moment of empowerment where you can now like pursue physical excellence, in a more, sort of overt, enthusiastic, primary fashion. That's an awesome thing. Yeah.
Like I think about Suzanne Summers. She looked better when she was older than she did when she was on Three's Company. I know some of you kids don't know who that is, but just Google Suzanne Summers and Three's Company. All right.
Sure. Yeah. You're not wrong though. You see that. You see where there's people who hit their athletic prime, in their 50s and 60s because, and that's a factor that I didn't really consider, right? That they've reached a point where they can now devote more of themselves to this cause. And it's an awesome thing. That's an awesome thing.
Just literally everybody who's watching this, some of you guys are, you're driving to work right now. I hope you're not watching while you're driving. But some of you are at work. We got a couple of people who are watching right now, and it's up. They're working from home, and so this up on like the TV or on their monitors or something like that. But basically, imagine if you didn't have to be where you are right now to make money. Sure. Instead, you literally could get up, work out, because that to me is even better than being paid to work out.
Sure.
Think about it. A professional athlete, they have to work out because their livelihood depends on it. So that's an element of stress.
Sure.
But what happens if there's not that stress? It's just, hey, I just get to be I'm doing this because I want to be as muscular as I can be for as long as possible.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about my kid, anything
Sure.
like that. I'm like,
Sure.
like literally, remember that guy, the Texas Shredder? Is it David Gooden or something like that? Dave Gooden. And he was like,
yeah, sure. I do remember. Yeah.
I was like, this dude looks better and better. And it never hit me. I was like, oh, well, he's retired. Of course. He's got time for all this, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But with that, one of the things that happens, I've noticed it in some people I know who've gotten in my family who've gotten older, it's like your digestion ability isn't as good, right?
Sure.
You can't eat all the same things.
Sure.
So keeping in mind what we mentioned earlier about how some of those early bodybuilding products were hard on the stomach.
Sure.
Talk to me about Fuel and Feast. Do you plan to continue to carry Feast? Is it just Fuel? Like, what's going on with the protein and the meal?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So as you spoke of, Fuel is our whey protein isolate, which is a very simple product. It's whey isolate. A patented Provan source of whey isolate that comes from a specific dairy. And then digestive enzymes together. Tastes really good, blends optimally, and digests ideally, which is the biggest thing, right? Because I always say that, a product can say whatever it wants in the label, but ultimately, how you tolerate it, right? It can have all the best ingredients, but if you're not able to digest and process them, then it's junk ultimately, right?
Yeah.
At least for you or I as an individual, if we come across a product that looks very promising, but then we utilize it, and even if the ingredients are great in it, for whatever reason we don't digest it well, then we might as well not have taken it at all, right? So
even if it doesn't necessarily give you gastric distress, if you take it and it ends up in your toilet because it passed straight through you, then
of course,
you just that was
it was a waste.
Expensive, a waste of money. Yeah,
very much so. So a total waste. And plus, if you're consuming something and then you're bloated or just not feeling well, then it's undermining the whole purpose of why you train and why you try to eat healthy in the first place, right? But and perform well. But yeah, so Fuel's our whey isolate. We have Feast, which is a product that a lot of people became very fond of over the years. We don't currently have that in stock, but that's it's sort of like a blue sky goal of ours, and it's the reason we don't have it is
and all of it like crack and then took it away. Thanks, Craig.
Yeah, no, the reason we don't have it is for no reason other than just pragmatic reasons. In that we, one of the evolutionary factors in sort of growing a brand is that over time you deal with multiple contract manufacturers who are making stuff for you to your specifications, and over the years, from time to time, we've had to change manufacturers. And the thing about Feast is that Feast is a little bit of a complicated, complex, elaborate product in terms of its ingredients, and it's sort of something that we had sort of nailed with one manufacturer. Then we moved to a new manufacturer and we realized, like, oh, okay, this is something that's going to be a little bit more difficult to re-engineer, and just a little bit more challenging. So it's something that we certainly intend to bring back because we think it has tremendous value for a lot of people in a lot of different ways. And it's a product that I was very fond of personally.
I got lived on it exclusively for a month.
I remember that. Yeah.
And thrived, actually. Like, I had nothing but Feast. I didn't have any solid food. If I had solid food, it's because I made it into pudding, because it was like my test. I tested it and I ended up losing weight, but I felt good. I still remember I was watching, for anyone who's like, for a reference point, we went to the movies and we were watching Spider-Man, the second Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Far From Home. And I had Feast and I was eating a pudding of Feast while they were eating popcorn around me, and I was fine.
That's it's incredible discipline, man. It's very, very cool. But
it tasted good. That's why I was like,
it certainly tasted good.
This actually pretty good. I was like,
That's true.
I mean, I do like popcorn. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
I could get through it because it tasted good, and you would think I would suffer by having just this product. but I was
Right.
able to like survive and thrive on just that, you know.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Anyway, that's a tangent.
But so we have fuel available right now. We're looking at flavors of that. And we are looking to re-engineer and bring back Feast at some point in the near future, because I very much believe in that product. But like everything, it's just a matter of priorities, and one of the things that I think I've had this conversation with before. But as your company grows and you try to reach more people and grow sales, inventory management, try to keep stuff in stock can be challenging. So it's a battle we're always fighting on a regular basis. But
so if somebody buys something today, I'm looking at the King and it says sold out.
Yes,
so
I know.
Does that mean it's on back order?
Yes, it's in production as we speak.
Okay.
And listen, man, I take that one personally, not only because it's one of our best products and one of our most successful products, but because I actually use it myself, and I don't have any myself, and I'm not a fan of that. And that's the truth, man. Like, that's a product that was formulated the way it was because it was something that I wanted guys like you and I to be able to rely on a regular basis, right? So those are, like I said, those are ingredients that I've had tremendous success with over the years, training drug free. And it's like, okay, well, if to be able to put them all in a single formula and then rely on them on a regular basis, is a big deal. So being out of stock on it is a big deal, and we're hoping that I would think that it's going to be back in stock hopefully within the next like 3 weeks. So
we're good then.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
Because my steez, right? I've got.
I know you always have a stash.
You dang right.
Yes.
I don't trust Fernando. Fernando is part of the reason why I have multiples. So like the way I started is what I was talking about. I was like, I ordered like 3, and then I started my subscription.
Sure.
So that I was always like at least 2 bottles in, and then so when the subscription comes, I'm adding back to it. I don't like running out of stuff.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
Because that's when I notice something's working. When I can't take it anymore, I'm like, oh wait, why am I feeling like this? Oh wait, it's the stuff where I take it and I feel it immediately. That stuff ends up getting banned because the FDA. I mean, seriously, FDA is like, well, what is this, right? Yeah. But the stuff that kind of, I don't want to say sneaks up on you, but it changes you and you don't really notice it. You just have like a general feeling of well-being. Yeah. Then take it away. You're like, oh, okay, it was making a difference.
Yeah, so, you know when you're not using it. Yeah, for sure.
So I'm against that in all its forms. No,
so you stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
You dang right.
I know that. I know that about you.
So, question. We mentioned the link. It's in the live chat. It's in the description for this video and all that.
Yep.
But let's say somebody's encountering GCode for the very first time. What's going to be the gateway drug, I guess? What would be the things that, hey, if you go there, try this because this is the thing that best represents our company.
Yeah. You're
immediately going to notice. And obviously you want them to get hooked, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, this is the thing I want you to try first.
Yeah. It's sort of an individual question, right? Depending on what somebody personally needs. So I'd sort of work backwards from the thought that like, there are some products that I feel like everyone could benefit from, right? We spoke of Life earlier. Life is our organic green superfruits, collagen, ancient spice, antioxidant product. That's a product where like the most elite athlete in the world, the hardest training, bodybuilder or powerlifter or strongman in the world would benefit tremendously from it. But then like our grandmothers would benefit from it. Right. Yeah. And like, there's not many products that you can say that about. And Life is certainly one of those, right? Just in terms of general health and wellness. So that's one that I think that everyone would benefit from. But then like, there's things like, our pre-workout Vice Triple X, we have in a novel container. In a novel container, the tri-chamber, which has 3 different compartments in it. You get 30 servings, but 10 servings each of 3 different flavors of our pre-workout in one unit. And that's a big deal. And that's very different than what everyone else is doing. So if you're in the market for a pre-workout, it's a very different experience. So I think that represents us well. And then products that we spoke about, products like King, product like Dream, then products like Queen, that sort of just enhance your lifestyle, enhance your general wellness, are daily support formulas that, you take on a regular basis to try to promote your own wellness and try to optimize like your internal environment. But you realize that ultimately those are performance products as well, right? Wellness and performance, I often say, are inextricably linked, right? And You know, the healthier you are and the more optimally you're functioning, the better you're going to perform. And
tough
you
to
know,
add muscle with a rotten tooth.
we try to make products along those same lines, you know, with that idea in mind.
Awesome. Well, my man, I appreciate you being here once again. Especially
thanks for having me.
You had a late night last night,
bro. You don't even know, man. It's funny.
So
but,
I was on the treadmill when we were texting back and forth. You're like, I'm at the Atlanta airport. I was like, well, wait a minute. Is this dude stranded? Because I was like, hey, do I need to come? I'm only like 45 minutes from the airport. So I was like, do I need to come get you?
That's
like,
incredibly kind. That's incredibly kind. And it could have worked out and we might have needed it. But what's funny is that after I got off after I stopped texting with you, you know, I was able to board my plane on time and all that. And then we sat on the runway, man, for like 3 hours.
I told you to let me come get you.
Man, I should have just let you. I should have just listened to you, man. I should have just taken you up on that offer.
You'd have been asleep. We got a guest room. You know, woke up. I'd have given you Vice, made you get on the show anyway, and then go home. Yeah.
So like my flight didn't land till.
You have to be at work until Sunday night, Greg. I could have driven you home. Worst case scenario.
My flight didn't land until like 2:30 a.m. man. So it was rough. It was rough.
Get out of here and go drink some Vice.
That's it, man. That's it.
Actually, don't do that. Take some Dream and go to sleep.
That's
what you need to do.
I need if I can figure out some way to get a little beauty nap in at some point today, I'm gonna do that. But there'll be plenty of Vice flowing for sure.
Heck yeah, my man. One last thing is Dennis. Dennis says he said good to meet you, Greg.
Man, good to meet you, brother.
Like I said, I'm gonna figure out a way to connect the two of you guys in a way that makes sense. You're on LinkedIn?
I'm not really on LinkedIn. No, I mean I've been there before, but in terms of like having a presence there, for whatever reason I never
think of a way to connect you and Dennis. Yeah, because he does have questions not related to. He has questions related to documentary filmmaking.
Oh, okay, awesome, man, awesome. I mean, you know, you could reach out to me on Instagram. You know,
Real G Diesel.
Yeah, at the Real G Diesel. Yeah, our Instagram for the brand is at GCode Nutrition, but personally at the Real G Diesel on Instagram. Of course, you know, I'd love to talk shop on filmmaking for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right, man. All right, Dennis, I'll give you all that stuff. I'll text it to you. And I say this without hesitation, not just because you're here, but if I needed to know about documentary filmmaking, I'm going there. I'm going to Greg.
That's kind of. Yeah, man, Jack of many, several trades.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I'll let you get out of here. Go get you some rest. And we got coming up. Free for All Friday coming up right now. This is the dumbest idea I've had in ages, but I'm going to let y'all go ahead and jump in here. If you ain't scared, show me you're not scared. There's a link to join the show. I put it in the live chat. So boom, there you go. Click on that link and join the show. If nobody joins the show within 5 minutes, peace and I'm outie. I got to go buy a assault shotgun to kill moths. While we wait, let's talk. Let's check out the comment section. Yeah. All right. I hate hearing this, man. So Jay said Bells of Steel did him like Fernando this week. That's a Fernando situation. I don't like that. Said he couldn't get help with a Manticore rack. A few emails back and forth. He was left stranded. Went to surplus strength and the decision was made. Man, I hate hearing that, man. That's I hate that more than you know, because I know that you kind of like we're sent in their direction because I said because I recommended Bells, and I take that personally. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I hate that happened to you, my man. I got to get Kayvon on here. But anyway, we got our first contestant. There we go. Jameson. Boom. What's up?
How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm good. All right. He said, just a bro. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Jameson, all right. This is Free for All Friday. So let's go through the rules. It's got to be home gym related and you can't cuss. Done. That's it. Just like the old UFC where they said no eye gouging, no shots to the groin. Go. That's it. Hey, I don't care. Crying babies, that's fine. I don't care. That's life.
No, they're good.
As long as those are your own kids and not some kids you just borrowed. And we don't endorse that.
No, I got a whole bunch of my own.
All right. So, hey, look at this, Jared. First of all, Jared, don't ever come on my show again with your nipples out. All right. I'm against that. All right. Free for All Friday. All right. What's on you guys' mind? Jameson, you were here first. So talk to me. What's going on? What's on your mind?
Oh, not much, man. Just figured I'd hop on. Haven't seen you, from this way in a while.
Yeah.
Although
Well,
the
how's
last
training
time,
going?
what's up?
How's training going? You were doing a lot of sledgehammer slams and things like that. So what's going on?
Altogether, pretty good. But also, I work a physical job, and I've been putting in a lot more hours. So then I've had to be smart about. I'm not a believer in overtraining, but I am a believer in under recovering. So I've had to try to.
So you're trying to recover a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. Had to hit a little bit of a snag in trying to get a deadlift PR this summer, but just with hours of work and then all kinds of other family demands. But it's all good stuff though. I enjoy it even if I don't reach a PR.
Well, you haven't reached a PR yet. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you, like, from experience, this is where the old man in me comes out. Where I'm like, all right. So let's say your programming is like, all right. I want to get a 10-pound PR within the next, 3 months. Well, if you dial it back, right, and you make your increment smaller, you can still hit that PR, maybe not in 3 months, but maybe in a year. So like next home gym con, you can hit the PR and you just give yourself a little bit more time. You know what I mean? So it's like you slow down 2 ways and you still get it. Oh, look at this. Look at everybody coming in here. Oh, look at this. All right. We got Dennis, home gym tech support in the building. All right, we're going in order of who is here first and arm size. So up next is gonna be Jared. Jared's arms and Jared are in 2 different screens. In case y'all are wondering, that's not a typo. Hey, what's up? What's up, man? What you got going on?
Good morning. How are you?
Man, I'm fantastic, dude. I'm fantastic. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. I think. Got up, got on the treadmill, and took a shower, shaved, and came in here and started yelling.
I'm right there with you, John. I'm a little tired this morning. I'm not working today, but I did get up early enough to watch the show. And I'm also tired because we just had our 3rd baby. So I've got a newborn in my bedroom, messing with my sleep and testosterone levels.
Good God. You know, when people say sleep like a what was it? Who was it? He ran for president. I'm forgetting his name. He was the one that he was a prisoner of war for a little bit. John McCain.
Yeah.
John McCain. And he was talking about, he said that after he lost the election, he said, I slept like a baby. I slept for 2 hours, woke up and cried. Sleep for 2 hours, wake up and cry. So everybody says, yeah, babies sleep 16 hours a day. Yeah, but not 16 hours straight. 45 minutes. Not at night either. Yeah, an hour. It's like, and then there'll be a sleep during the day when you're like, no. I need you to stay up because I need you to stay up so you can sleep at night. I get it. Look at him, got the fireplace in the background. Look at Dennis. Do you see this thing? It's got the fireplace in the background. Look at this. Look at him.
Beautiful.
Got the deep dish place. He's just flexing them all over. Look at that. I feel like I'm on MTV Cribs right now. This is amazing. This is phenomenal. And this is your basement, right?
This is my basement. Yes, sir.
Amazing. In Louisville. All right. So when we go up there for home gym con, I'm going to sleep right behind where you're sitting right now. That's
you're welcome to.
You're welcome to be cozy without the fireplace going on.
Exactly. See, Dennis, that's why we're right here. Because you see what I'm thinking about. I'm sleeping next to the fire. All right.
It's nice.
So what's going on, Dennis? What you got going on in life?
Okay, when you were interviewing Greg, I was doing a Bully Juice hit cardio video.
Oh wow. Okay.
This is a clean dry shirt, but you can already tell sweat is like
it's authentic sweat right there. Look at that. Yeah. Look at that. Okay. Walking the wall.
Yeah, so today my wife is pregnant and we're gonna go do like a skeletal.
What are y'all? Jared, what are y'all drinking over there? I mean, everybody's pregnant. Jameson, you got more kids coming? Are you trying to quit?
Yeah, we have our 30s less than 2, so we're not in a hurry.
Okay. All right. So Dennis has got more Solices on the way. All right, go ahead. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then I got 2 jobs coming up. One of them is replacing the cables on not this, like this is a rip fit, but I'm going to replace the cable on the Marcy SM 4930, I think, or FS. I forgot which one it was, but I'm going to replace the cable on that. Okay. And then I have parts here that I'm going to take to a company. They do flooring, so it's called More Flooring. They're in Chino, California, and they hired me to do. What's up?
I've been to Chino. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I was going through.
And then I'm going to replace the overlay keyboard on their Star Trek treadmill. At the same time, I'm going to replace the cables on their Smith machine that they have over there. It's like a non-name
So this is for a
brand
house?
Smith.
This is for someone's home?
It's a company. They have a big warehouse, and in the warehouse they have fitness equipment for their crew.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
because their crew, they need to stay in shape, man. Flooring is hard work.
So they got a Marcy. That doesn't seem heavy duty enough for that commercial application, but hey, it's what they want.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Said you can't ice up when you're almost done down here. All right. But you don't have to type in the live chat. You can just talk to us there, Jared. Jared's like conditioned to type his answers. Just talk.
I'm not trying to interrupt Dennis. He's talking. I'm not going to interrupt Jameson or yourself. So I'll put myself on mute when I'm not participating.
Didn't I just say put your chest away, man? Look at that. Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah, John mentioned that at Home Gym Con. It's informed you you're not supposed to look bigger than him on his show.
Oh, that's a rule. That's a definite rule. Don't you ever you were the first one to break that rule, Jameson. And I was like, so I'm ready for y'all next time. I'm gonna show up with a garment that's nice and flowing, big. It's gonna like those peasant blouses that women like wearing that kind of hide their figure. I'm bringing one, and anybody shows up on my show with more muscle than me, they got to wear the peasant blouse. There'll be no more of that. Yeah, I put an end to that.
John, you need to spend some time with these at Home Gym Con next year. These Delta dumbbells.
Is this the triads? What is that?
They're Delta dumbbell from ATX. I took all of them home. I know you're into kettlebell stuff, my man. Spend some time with these at the Home Gym Con.
All right, I'll put that on
really develops like stability, right? It's pretty cool.
Dude, I mean, like curls and delts and chest work, and the handle spins.
A little bit.
Yeah, but the handle spins, and they got this nice cushion, so you're not beating up your forearms and cutting yourself up.
Smart.
They are cool.
Oh, shoot. I like that.
Yeah.
Joey said he's still getting used to the live video. That's right, man. This is what happens when you're not in the replay gang. You get to see all the craziness happen right away. Shout out to everybody who's listening to the audio version and they're like, what sort of chaos is this? You got to go to YouTube and you'll be able to see Free for All Friday at the end. I'm going to go back up to the top of the comments because Carp said something that I wasn't able to address because it would have definitely taken us off topic. And I want to talk about it with you guys real fast. Keep going. Come. I'll answer your question. You asked if my friend had tried squatting with the axle bar or a really good squat pad. He has not. I told him that he could try Manta Ray, but I don't have a Manta Ray anymore. So I do have an axle bar. You guys obviously know that. So we'll try that, but I'm gonna have him try my Elite FTS SS yoke bar for my friend who had the hives. Let's see. Huge fan of surplus strength. Where is the thing? There you go. About Stray Dog and the Thresher pad. You know, that kind of stuff is fresh on my mind because I just did the review of the Bells of Steel seal row pad, right? And so I looked at because I was comparing it to other pads that were like that. So I just looked at the Thresher pad. So have you guys heard about this, about Stray Dog knocking off the Thresher pad? Have you guys heard anything about it? If you know, I don't know anything about it. So go ahead. Whoever knows, educate me.
No.
Nobody knows? Okay, so now we're going to have to ask Google. Well, actually, Carp, if you're still in the chat, go ahead and let me know what you're talking about because I'm not familiar with that. I don't even know what their product would be that would be knocking off the Thresher pad. What I'm more interested in is if they are, how much outrage is there going to actually be in the home gym community? Because normally when I see outrage about knockoffs, it's always people are mad if a company that's run by somebody they don't know seems to knock off a company that's run by somebody they do know. But if a company they do know knocks off somebody, it's like, oh, it's fine. You know, he didn't mean it. He didn't mean it. It's fine. I'm like,
we all have the same ideas, right?
Yeah, that's the only thing I say. I'm not even gonna call it hypocritical. I'm just saying I noticed that it happens. Like, oh, nobody says, oh, well, hold on. This, like, for example, So Matt Winning came out with the belt squat, right? But you don't see any outrage for all these different belt squat machines that are out there that are knocking off his design, right? Everybody just says, oh, it's pretty cool, because nobody cares. They're like, oh, well, who's Matt Winning? We don't know him. Oh, there's an answer. I knew Joey, my man. Jake from Stray Dog posted a reel showing him using a pad on his spotter arm that looked just like a thresher. So now you're going to make me go to Instagram to look up. I haven't been on the Stray Dog Instagram probably in 3 years, to be honest with you. Yeah. Stray Dog strength. If I just put in Stray Dog, it's going to pull up like actual stray dogs. Stray Dog. Stray. Yep, that's what I thought. So Stray Dog by itself pulls up stray dogs. What's the Instagram handle for Stray Dog? Does anybody know? Oh, it's on his personal Instagram? All right, I'll never find it then. That's a rabbit hole I can't go down.
Posted a reel. Well, does that mean posted a reel? Does that always mean it's a continuously accessible reel, or that they posted a story of it?
So I think like if it's a reel, then it should be comparable.
Okay.
Oh, Jake has the answer. Jake said it's a link. So he must have given me the link. Nope. That's a thing from Dennis. So it looks like Dennis had to get out of here. All right. Jake, do you know what we're talking about with this thing with Stray Dog and the Thresher pad? Because I was today years old when I found out that this was even a thing. So if anybody knows it or has it or whatever, just post a link in the live chat and we'll check it out. Talk to me about, Jared, your is that that I'm looking at your storage rack over there. What brand is that? The red one? The red and black one?
That's homemade, buddy.
Homemade. All right. I was about to say, I've never seen that before.
And the real reason I made that is because I've got 4 pairs of the Delta dumbbells. I want about 5 or 6 more. I'd like a complete set from about 4 kilograms to 20 kilograms. So I made that storage rack for those, and it just helps tidy the place up a bit too.
Well, you built it though, but then if I remember right, you had a buddy paint it, right? Or
no, my brother helped me build it. He's way handier than I am. He's got better tools. But no, I painted it. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, sir.
So I'm looking here. I'm looking for your link, Joey. I don't see it. It says it posted a link in the chat. The link above.
I doubt YouTube will let you. I was suggesting him replace the actual period with dots or the word dot, and maybe you can type it in that way or something.
Because I'm looking in the looking in the chat and I don't even see it. Because like StreamYard should actually let me post it. I mean, StreamYard should show it to me. All right. Tell you what, DM it to me on Instagram. Just DM it to me on Instagram real fast, and I'll post it here because I do want to see it now. Because I'm gonna be frustrated because let's see. Apparently, Do You Even Lift Bro has Darko on there. It's gonna be dropping, so there's a small feud.
It's already dropped.
Okay, so I'm gonna go check that out. That'll be something I can. How long is it? How long is that episode with him on there?
A little under 2 hours. I was actually just starting it before I saw your link for Free for All.
All right, so I'm gonna. So that's good because I need to lift, and so I can have that running while I'm on the treadmill and while I lift. So I always look for. So I'm different than most people. Like they'll see videos and there's like if it's really long, they're like, oh, I don't have time to watch that. But with me, it's like it's not long enough for me to watch it on a treadmill. So I'm looking. If anybody wants to recommend stuff for me, it's like, hey, is it at least an hour long because I need it for the treadmill? Help me out. All right, Carp came through with the answer. Let's see here. Instagram Reel got the link right here. All right, boom. All right, so now let me share my screen with you guys real fast so everybody else can see it who just who may not have seen it. All right. That's very suspicious. What is his archery? Okay, let's go in some keywords right here. The new prototype Generation 3 lat seat. So prototype, new prototype. Let's talk about that. You know what Inigo Montoya said? You keep using that word. I'm not sure it means what you think it means. So, I mean, it looks good.
You know what that reminds me of, John?
What?
That actually reminds me a little bit of Jay's Infinity Arm.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, yeah, I don't know if new prototype are the words that we want to use to describe this.
Yeah, like Dennis said, we all have the same ideas. Like some people don't want something that has only one use, and I can see that a good trend of the future is things that can attach to a spotter arm, so that you give your spotter arms as a whole more use. Like Porter Phys Ed, he posted a really cool story, I think, of using some handles on the shorty spotter arms from Dean.
Yeah.
So that turns your spotter arm into a grip station.
I mean, so if I'm going to, so let's say I'm writing the copy to describe this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say new prototype, right? I'm going to say innovative, because if you make any changes to something that's actually out there, then you innovated the differences, right? Say, or we took a, and then I'm going to say something like, we took a look at what else is on the market and we decided that we could improve it by doing, and then you list the things that you did that are different, right?
Yep.
But if you phrase it like it's the first time anybody's ever seen something like this, then that's when you can say, oh, well, you're kind of knocking this off. Joey said there are a ton of chest support pads out there, but this is the only one, the second one he's seen that's hooks to a spotter arm. Fair, but if it's the second one, then I can't call it the prototype or the whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because it's the second one. Let's check in on Jared real quick.
Hey.
Are you? We're hearing some noises. I just want to make sure you're okay. All right, you're good. Yeah,
I'm good, buddy. Am I good? Yeah.
It was exhausting. I get it. Third time's exhausting.
Hey, I'm making fun of him because I'm jealous, to be honest with you. Hey, aren't you coming off? You're coming off an injury right now. How you feeling, man?
The shoulder thing?
Yeah.
It's better. It's not good. It's not perfect though. I'm really having to take chest pretty light right now. This
I saw you just now.
Clicking, kind of this clicking sensation here in this SC joint, vernicular. I don't know, something here, but
take your time.
Yeah, I think it's from not doing great form with benching, being too kind of delt dominant. I'm working around it. It doesn't hurt much, but a lot of clicking over there, so I'm a little shy on trying to push it much.
You go to the chiropractor?
No, I mean I've just learned a little bit about it through online resources, and I'm just kind of babying it, and it's getting better.
Okay.
Through Shane from Bells of Steel.
Through Shane, through YouTube, through our Squat University guy.
So in other words, someone can help him as long as they're jacked.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go.
Heck, I know chiropractors that lift,
Yeah.
My thing with all that stuff is sometimes it's just that something's out of position and you just need to put it back in position, and then you need to train the musculature to hold it where it's supposed to be because there's been like some sort of imbalance or whatever. But yeah. All right. So let's see. Carp said they had a lat seat before, but it only had one hole and it didn't adjust like the Darko with multiple holes for different angles. Okay. All right, so I guess we're caught up. All right, well, you guys got anything else on your mind before I shut this down and go move on to my pre-squat ritual? Jameson, you shot?
Actually, no, I'm frozen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. What's up?
No, actually, I have a story. I can do it real quick about Jared's deltas. The day he got them, here, I'm going to try to get back to the screen here.
All right.
The day he got them at Home Gym Con, we were at the ATX booth, and he and Lynn were scrambling through their billfolds trying to get the amount of money. I had this crazy idea to get them like a $5 discount, and I told the ATX guy, whose name I can't remember, he's one of the younger ones. I said, hey, how about $5, but Jared has to say one word in German correctly, and he gets 3 attempts. And the word now, like if you're familiar with watchmaking, there's a thing called a watch screw finishing tool. In
Okay.
German, it's all one word. It's Urschraube-Verarbeitung-Werkzeug. So I had
Golly.
I had the other guy from ATX say it, and we just kept on trying. Jared got it like 10% correct, but the ATX guy had so much fun, he gave them that $5 discount.
That right there is probably the best commercial for Home Gym Con I've ever heard in my life. You just in the moment, you're like, hey, if you could say this German word,
It was,
$5 off this thing. That is legit. Jake, I hope you heard that, man. That's legit. And you only heard it. And see, we wouldn't have heard that if we hadn't done Free for All Friday, because I was about to be done with this whole Free for All Friday concept. So I'm glad you guys. That right there makes me want to keep doing this, because that's how you get those stories, man. That's awesome. Say that German word again. I'm not gonna try to say it.
Urschraube-Verarbeitung-Werkzeug.
Good God. Okay.
Thank you to Luca of ATX, who was a good sport, as Jameson tried to sabotage my attempt to buy the Delta dumbbells.
I tried to cheapen your purchase.
Give you some
price.
money.
That's one word for it.
I'm not gonna make it easy. I'm not gonna give you an easy word.
You guys are nuts, man. Y'all are nuts. Hey, look, coming up next week, we have got some cool people on, just like we did this week. So next week, I have got Cody Lutz coming back. He's going to be talking about backyard shed gyms again. This is going to be more of a Q&A type deal. So if you guys have any questions for Cody, go ahead and send them to me, or just come back next week with your questions. Cody is going to be joining our show. We've also got Andrew and Paige from Bullet Pulley joining the show, and we're going to talk about their product. And then if you guys have seen these commercials, or not commercials, these YouTube videos with Victoria Dorsano, she's doing like the freak athlete thing. She's doing a lot of like the Nordic freak athlete glute ham raise things. Well, Victoria is going to be coming on, and she's going to talk about recovering from ACL surgery, getting back to being able to play volleyball again, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So that's who's going to be on next week. I'm excited to talk to Andrew and Paige from Bullet Pulley, especially because I wasn't, I wasn't able to, I didn't see them at Home Gym Con, and they've got one of those product lines that to me is like a good middle of the road product if maybe you can't afford to get a functional trainer yet. There's something that kind of is like an upgrade to just having the normal pulley with your stuff. Anyway, appreciate you guys for being on here. Thanks for being part of Free for All Friday. We got one last comment, and then we're out of here. It said the only Deltas in the USA are in Louisville. That's true. The only ones. So make sure your address doesn't get out there. You're going to have people breaking in your house to work out.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. All right, man. Appreciate you guys being here, and we will see y'all next week. Let's go ahead and run that outro music right now.
Thanks, John.
Peace
Thanks,
out,
John.
man.
You too.